Okay, I think it's gonna be enough. Performance, GPU is working. Right. A bit too loud. Should be good enough. Fuck. Sorry for that. Okay. 421, so there should be already game 3 on the way. Let's go to my main account. Group stage, there we go. Let's open Stats Royale. And yeah, we're in a group stage. Active battles. Okay, they will be sorted by groups. It's gonna be convenient. Surgery versus. Actually, let's see. The thing is, Group A with Pedro sub. I think those are the favorites. Here Infill already with 1-0 against Dats. Yes, against Dats 2-0, very elegant, so Infill took a win. Titan unfortunately lost to Ruben. Yeah, that's gonna be also a very difficult group, I think, for Ruben. I believe it was group D. There we go, yeah. Here Lucas takes 1-0. Let's see who he was facing. He played against Mohammed, not Light, just Mohammed. Fair enough. Morten win against Coco. Batan. Eric played against Rin. Ruben against Titan. Adriel versus Kimchi. Okay, against Des. Pedro fend against this guy. Oh, retired lost. Okay. That's unfortunate. And this RG with Lumberjack. Riley won against EG, who does a big win. Yeah. Expo against Graveyard. Well, Riley with a very wild snipe in game 1. Okay, games should be online. So let's... Okay. Something interesting. Surgical Rakan, probably not. Sandbox Guriko is interesting. Sandbelikin. Where's Mohammed Light, by the way? I think he already won, no? Mohammed Light against trainer Adnan. Okay, he won. But... Celestial versus Nikoko. Furkan versus Luffy. OP-Sam versus Vitor 75. That's also interesting. I think I'm gonna watch Sandbox versus Guriko. That's the highest level game. Yes, Ian77 is playing. He is playing in. Let me check. Yeah, he's playing in Group G and he lost his first game. I'm gonna drop a link to a full bracket. Ian plays in Group G. For now we're gonna be watching Sandbox versus Guriko, Game 3. I think Guriko has a pleasant matchup. Hawk Cycle usually beats this types of Mega Knight matchups. Monk in kind, getting stopped by Skeltons. Unfortunately, Monk does not fully stop the Evo MK, so Guriko has to play the Hog Rider as well. Very annoying. Ability? I would assume so, yes. Another Furnace, and right now the Monk will fully counter the Mega Knight. Yes. Cannon in kind. Late cannon, okay, log. And right now, Guriko will be having a very pleasant counter push. There we go, he even can pop the ability. He didn't pop ability and Hog gets no hits. I would say a huge mistake. He needed the mini P.E.K.K.A to be on the Monk, not on the Hog, so this knockback was a waste of time. Mega Knight comes down. No ciekawe. Okay, Hog comes down, Mega Knight in kind. This is not gonna get any hits because of the Zappy. And right now Sandbox is actually in a very commanding lead. Even though it seems Guriko had a matchup, he didn't play it to the best of his abilities, and this Hog will get a hit or two. There's one, there's two, and that's game. GG. Sandbox takes Guriko down. Definitely not an unexpected win, but I would say Guriko was definitely having a better matchup in this one. He had to focus more on defending and counter pushing where there's no Mega Knight. But Sandbox controlled the course of the matchup better and took a win. Bad fans, do we have anything interesting? OP Sam and Vitor 75 is still ongoing. Let's check these guys out. So Vitor going for 3 Musketeers, very interesting pick. And OP Sam going to bait, a very well known pick from OP Sam. He usually saves bait for game number 3 and very good Golden Knight right here. I would say Mother Witch definitely here to predict the bait, so very good. Picking from Vitor 75. I would say he's having a very comfortable matchup, especially with this Golden Knight. He's gonna wreak so much havoc and pretty much hard counter the rascals of his opponent. The ability should come down. There's no ability, so the battle ram will be stopped in its tracks, and it does. The barbarians will have to be picked up by the prince, and right now OP-san is playing on a very low elixir count, so maybe Vitor will be cycling to another set of 3 musketeers and maintaining the tempo of the game. I would only guess that's the plan for now. Yep, 3 musketeers will come down. There we go. And Ice Golem will be played to potentially stop the Dark Goblin from damaging the musketeer. Here comes the battle ram on the left. And there's not gonna be arrows, so battle ram will be connecting. I mean, no log, so the battle ram will be connecting on the tower. Golem Knight has been played on the right side, and OP-san instantly jumps with the rascals. Very well timed play. Arrows will have to be played on this Goblin Barrel, and they are. Rascals will be neutralized by the Zappies, and Ice Golem will be picked off by an Ice Golem, very well timed Ice Golem by the Portugal. Another set of 3 Musketeers. Vitor knows that there's not a big spell from OP Sam, so every time he can, he will drop the 3 Musketeers. These decoy barrels will definitely wreak some havoc. But Vitor protected his 3 Musketeers, so right now the tempo once again switches. He has to go very aggressively with Batram and Heal Spirit on the side, and GoldenEye instantly jumping on the sprints. I would say very good defense from OP Sam, very high defense against these 3 Musketeers. And there's no damage for Vitor. This game slowly but surely takes a wrong turn for the Portugal, and if this battle ram does not connect, there's the lock to reset. There's the GoldenEye on the opposite side. OP Sam with a desperate attempt of defense, and he manages to pull it through. Wow, very well played by the German, GG. So there's gonna be that. OP Sam will take down the Vitor 75. Definitely not a huge upset, but I would say upset nonetheless. You would expect Vitor 75 to pick off this game. I just closed the browser. Sorry for that. Okay, apparently Sub is still playing. Let's turn the match. Probably will be an ending. And John 77 with a brutal attack. And he's gonna actually beat Sub. That I think is a huge upset. John 77 is not Ian 77, those are 2 different players, and Sub, literally the runner-up of the recent World Finals, will be dropping a game to John 77. Huge upset in Group A. And we have concluded the game 1s of the group stage. Pedro, Tanjiro, EGW, and John 77 will be the winners of the game 1. From Group B is gonna be Kaver, Hubi, Infrill, Surgical Golden, and Sandbox. Guriko, Rakan taking a loss. Rainbow, Adriel, Bedfast, and Evolve will be winning in the Group C, which, looking at the people from losers, is not that unexpected. From Group B, it's gonna be Ruben, Eric, Lucas, and El Molejas leading the group. Titan unfortunately taking a loss, as well as the San Belkin. Morten, OP Sam, so the German duo will be taking a win in Group E. Nubi and Christian as well. Sosa, Vitor, and Coco for now dropping a game. Group F, it's gonna be Batan, Ta, Turan, and a Russian guy that I unfortunately do not recognize. Let's check the Group F right here. Samuel Basotto actually lost. Let's check this one. Samuel Basotto. It's gonna be right here. Lost to the Russian guy. Interesting. So he drew in the first game against Golem Beatdown. I definitely do not understand why Basotto lost that. That looks like the easiest matchup to win. Maybe he got cheesed in single. Game number 2, he got his win back with Pig Psycho versus Pig Psycho, mirror matchup, kinda. And game number 3, very wild. Hog Rider, Minion Horde, Mini P.E.K.K.A. Tesla to snipe the RG. That makes sense. In the Group G, obviously Mohammed Light, Clown, Furkan, and I don't recognize this guy, unfortunately. We'll have to Royal API him. But Ian 77 taking a loss. And in Group H, Riley Asaf, Rafael Nadal, and Celestia Vau will be also taking a win. E.G. Hu taking a loss, Retired taking a loss, and Nikoko. So I wouldn't say a lot of upsets, but we've seen a handful of upsets already. And from active battles, Pedro versus Tanjiro, maybe that's gonna be interesting. Infil versus Vampires, maybe we're not gonna be watching. Let's see who's Titan gonna be facing. Titan will be facing El Molejas. Okay, so far this should be like 2 easy wins for our guys from Poland. Let's say if we can watch something more interesting. A drill with not that of an interesting matchup. Riley versus Nikoko. Ian77 versus this Chinese guy. Mohammed Light. He was here, right? Yeah, Mohammed Light versus Clown. That will be interesting. Group E. Morten, OP Sam. Yeah, so far we don't have that many of an interesting matchups. In which group there was a... There was Ta. Okay, Ta is also not having interesting matchup. Interesting. Yeah, let's watch Surgical Goblin. Unfortunate. Okay. The screen should be already here. Back online. Slight technical difficulties. And yes, Surgical Goblin with a very pleasant matchup. Guriko running Hog EQ. And Hog EQ unfortunately is not the best matchup against RG. Against RG you want to have Hog and Lightning. EQ does not get any value in this matchup. If you don't have this Lightning, you will be fighting an uphill battle. There has to come a Fish Boy behind this RG. Now, to pick off the Mighty Miner, and it does. The lock will be very well timed to pick off the RG. And right now Hog Rider will most likely come at the bridge. No, the RG will come with Lumberjack striking instantly at the bridge is Sergi. And very good prediction log from Guriko. So he's gonna defend this very aggressive move out from Surgical Goblin. Hog Rider should come down the lane once the Mighty Miner crosses the bridge, and it does. Fisherman will pick off the Hog Rider late, will allow 2 hits on the tower actually, so very well timed play for Guriko. Lumberjack comes down on the opposite lane, trying to whittle down the Tesla, and Hunter with the Electro Spirit to counteract the Mighty Miner will not matter as the RG goes down, and that's the beautiful defense for the Japanese player. Hog Rider once again going for 1 hit, and right now Surgical Goblin is kinda desperate for damage. Even though the matchup definitely advantageous for Sergi, he has not been seeing any success. Thinking of these Mighty Miners, there goes the ability, very well known play in this type of matchup. Surgical Goblin unfortunately not aware that can happen. And here comes the roll jam. This firecracker unfortunately has to be fireball, and that's a huge stand from Surgical. He cannot support this roll jam. It really looks like Guriko will take this game as Surgical Goblin has not been playing this matchup correctly. Yep, this Hog Rider will get a hit no matter what. And here Electro Spirit goes down to prevent the firecracker, and firecracker is just not there anymore. Yeah, I would say Surgical Goblin unfortunately misplaying this matchup big time, and there's just no way to win at this point. Let's see if we have any other matches remaining. Infrill still playing, let's check on him. Same group as Surgical Goblin by the way, against Vampires. And he has been playing Hyperbait against Drill. Definitely advantageous matchup for Drill, but only in double and triple elixir. As long as the elixir stays low, Hyperbait response will be having way more options to maneuver and harass on the both sides of the field. And that's what Infrill is banking on. This poison has to come down on defense. There is gonna be a lot of damage coming down from wall breakers, and it's just not looking well for the Vampires. Lord comes down to pick off the Goblins to pick off the second and third stage of the drill, and still the drill will break through. So right now Infro in a desperate position where he has to defend at all costs. Lock comes down. Evo Snowball to pick off the goblins, Dark Goblin as well. There's no big spell for Intro. He has to cheese, and the wall breaker will not make it to the tower. Info, unfortunately, picking off a loss in the game number 1. Very unfortunate to see. We're gonna see if we can catch even one more match. I believe in Group D was Titan, but he has already ended his matches. Let's see Retired how he's doing against Celestia WoW. And he's gonna be getting a win. Very nice. Nicely done from Retired. Yeah, let's check if Bedfast is playing. He is, and he actually is gonna be taking a win as well. So the game 1s have ended right now. Let's wait for the game 2s. Gonna be waiting in this screen for now. And we're awaiting for the game number 2s. Let's check the results. Actually, Tanjiro beats Pedro in game 1, which is surprising. GW beating Sap, another upset, I would say. Madison beating John 77, acceptable. And Joy beating COK in Group A. In Group B, Sandbox beating Des. Rakan beating Kaver Hubi. Infro losing to Venper, and Surgical Goblin losing to Guriko. In Group C, Bedfast wins against Monpan. Rainbow loses to Kimchi 77, that's very interesting score. Adriel loses to Inferno. And Evolve loses to Michael, interesting. Group D, Ruben wins against Mohammed, not Mohammed Light, just Mohammed. Lucas wins against Eric. El Molejas wins against Titan, very unfortunate for our Polish player. And San Valentin also drops a game to Rin. Morton wins against Crobat. OP Sam loses to Coco game 1. Sousa takes a game 1 of a newbie. And Vitor 75 wins against Christian G. Fausto. In Group E, not a lot of surprises. Favorites are winning their matches so far. In Group F, Ta picks a game of I believe it's a Russian alphabet, so some kind of a Russian player. Batan loses to Samuel Basoto. Turan loses to Maya, and Soxi wins against Sinister. I believe we've seen this Soxi in yesterday. He was definitely qualifying with a 6-3 score. And I believe he was facing one of the boys that we were watching. Not sure which one, but he was active battles. Group number G, Muhammad Light took a game of Clown. Ian 77 dropped a game to A. Definitely can. I'm gonna have to check who this guy is in Group G, because he actually took a set win and right now winning against Ian. That's interesting player. Furkan won against trainer Adnan. And in Group H, Riley actually lost to Nikoko. Retired won against Celestial Vow. EG who lost to Mortar, and Asaf, the only player from the favorites, winning his game. Let's see who we can watch. I think we're gonna be spectating Titan. Okay, they're not playing just now, so we're gonna jump to Intro's game anyway. And the Chinese guy, I believe in Group G, is called Musi. He's apparently from Italy, so very interesting. The Italian player that uses a Chinese nickname. Info will be playing the Giant Skeleton deck, most likely, with the That's an interesting composition. I'm not sure if there's a giant skeleton battle ram deck anymore. But nonetheless, Furnace and Skeleton Dragons definitely good response against Lava Hound. Evo Knight as well. You may expect some kind of a graveyard play after these cards, and I wouldn't be surprised as Infil really likes to run graveyards when he knows that Mother Witch is out of hand for the opponent. He's just that confident with this archetype. Darkness in Kind, counterplaying the Tombstone, and Valkyrie to pick off. Goblin Hat on defense, it only solidifies the theory that it's gonna be indeed a graveyard deck. The Knight comes down at the bridge, and the graveyard comes down to potentially force out some annoying response from Vampires. A lot of skeletons swarming the tower, and Vampires opts to take the damage in order to set up a counter push. Infil plays a poison to clean up the flank troops, and I think it's gonna work out for him very well. Vampires definitely with the elixir advantage here. He's gonna try to opt for playing Lava Hound in the back. But first Infil will try to harass him, for that matter, drops Dark Prince at the bridge and gets 3 hits for his effort. And Lava Loon comes down from Vampires. Right now it's gonna be difficult hold from Infil as the balloon actually skips the Goblin Hat for whatever reason. The bomb will be on the tower and the Skeleton Dragon will be splashing as well, so very unfortunate defense for the Polish Venom. Knight plus Graveyard push has been played on the opposite side, forcing out the Evo Valkyrie on the lane where Vampires doesn't want it. Definitely well played. Forcing out Empress as well by playing Skeleton Dragons at the bridge. And right now, I believe Infil will try to force as much play on the right side as is physically possible to not allow Vampires to go for a fully saturated Lava Loon push. Balloon has to be sent alone, and the Knight comes down late, so Balloon will get a death drop on the tower, and right now Infil has to go very quickly with the Graveyard in order to stay in the game. Skeleton Dragons are in play. Skeleton Dragons go on the left side as it's gonna be less protected than the right side. Evo Zap is forced out on defense, and 1144 against 540 in favor of Vampires sets up the defensive Tombstone. It's gonna be the story of the game so far, and Evo Knight setting up on the left side to potentially pressure the weaker tower of the Lava player. Graveyard comes down, still forcing some response on the right side. Empress will be played on the air, so Vampires right now banking that his defenses will hold and he's gonna be able to set up a counter push on the right side. Infil anticipating that plays the Evo Furnace as a main response. Evo Furnace definitely getting some value, and Balloon comes down to potentially get a hit, the decisive one in this game. Balloon still not dropping the ability, is gonna be picked up by the Furnace. Infil playing very aggressively on the both left and right side, potentially forcing out the cards that Vampires does not want to play. Poison comes down to support the Graveyard, and hits just barely not there for Infil. Right now the Balloon getting a play. Goblin Hat should come down promptly, and it does. Infil pretty much one Poison plus Graveyard away from taking this game, and it comes down. Just tanked by the Barbarel is the Graveyard, and Poison comes down to nullify the Tombstone. One Skeleton gets a hit, and that's gonna be a GG, well played from the Infil. Very elegant win in game number 2. See if anyone else is still playing. Group DI. Okay, Titan is still playing. Okay, it's not. He's not playing. Let's see what active battles are still there. EGW is facing Sub. Maybe we're gonna watch that. Yeah. Let's watch EGW versus Sub. As Sub right now is one game away from going 0-2. Very unfortunate showing from Sub, starting his group stage run. You'd expecting that he's the favorite of the grab, but he has been struggling in the first two games. Now against EGW in the previous game, also like there was some kind of an underdog story. Valkyrie to pick up a Golden Knight, very well played by Sub, but the Magic Archer still goes down. The Golden Knight won't recharge the ability on time, but the cannon still has to be played to not allow any shenanigans from the Barbarian Barrel. 6 seconds left and Sub throwing a desperation push in order to get any damage. Vines come down and Skeleton Dragons will be barely not enough. One wall breaker connects. High Spirit will make sure that nothing breaks on the left side, and right now Sub once again setting up for a mini push containing Berserker and wall breakers, barely not enough for the Magic Archer to connect. 424 to 468. EGW right now setting up for his timing attack, getting the Evo Battle Ram to connect to the cannon, but the Barbarians will be picked off by the Valkyrie. Sub pressures the opposite lane, and right now a downhill push once again from EGW, distracting the Subs from pressuring. Wall breakers plus Goblin Barrel goes down, one Goblin is getting missed, and completely uncontested Goblin Barrel on the left side. Sub will take a win. Very well done by Sub, bouncing back in this tournament, and for now I would say still a tense situation in Group A. Looking at battles, let's check our players. Apparently there are already players that won their battles. Mohamed Light 2-0ing Clown, Furkan 2-0ing Adnan, Ta 2-0ing a Russian guy, Molehas 2-0ing Titan, so that's gonna be unfortunate. Titan unfortunately going 2-0, like 0-2 to start off the day. Ruben getting 2-0 against Mohamed, Bedfast getting 2-0 against Montpan, and Sandbox getting 2-0 against Des. Rest of the players will be forced to keep playing, unless they're like 1-1. Okay, there are 1-1s, so there are players that also already lost or won, depending on their performance in the previous round. From what I see, Vitor, for instance, bounces back after losing. OP Sam loses to Coco. Clown was playing against Mohamed Light. Riley loses to Nikoko, very interesting. That's about it. Rest of the players will be playing game 3s. And we're gonna be focusing on the Intro versus Venper and Surgical Goblin versus Guriko. Group B apparently becomes very contested group really quickly. Games will start in 40 seconds, we'll just wait for that, and apparently the Google is advertising me this Manchester City vs Arsenal matchup. So be it. I'm definitely gonna watch it later, but for now, let's just focus on the games on hand. Okay, so Surgical Goblin is still waiting to accept. Guriko already ready to go. Inflow still waiting, as well as Vampire. We'll see both guys 1 and 1 looking to get their second win of the day is Inflow and Surgical Goblin. Let's hope to Surges games first, and then we're gonna check the Inflow afterwards. Surgical Goblin bringing a Mega Minion in game number 3 against Guriko, and the Goblins come in kind. Surgical Goblin most likely bringing a Lava Hound Empress deck, very popular, and Guriko bringing a Goblins, Electro Spirit, Goblin Cage. I'm assuming it's a Royal Giant. Oh, Surgical Goblin actually won't be playing the Lava Hound. It's Mega Minion, Empress, Ghost. Interesting deck. We'll see what's gonna happen. Void to pick up a Magic Archer, very interesting pick from Surge, and the Goblin Cage will be there to pick off the Ram Rider. Empress will make a light work of the Skeleton Dragons, leaving only one on a slight amount of HP. Guards to pick off the Goblin Brawler, and so far so good, game pretty even with a slight advantage for Surge. We're gonna be waiting to see what's the win condition of the Guriko. So far, with Magic Archer, with Goblin Cage, with Skeleton Dragons, I might assume it's gonna be Royal Hogs. It may be something different, we'll wait and see. And Royal Hogs make their appearance on the board. Surgical Goblin, however, playing the Mega Knight with the Ram Rider. Also a very popular combo, with a very unorthodox support troops in Hero Mega Minion, and Spirit Empress, which actually is very popular support troop, paired with Mega Knight these days. Void is not coming down, Mega Minion will make its dash, and Ram Rider going for a big damage is gonna get 2 more hits if uncontested, and it does. 1551 for Surgical Goblin, big time lead for the Dutch player. Spirit Empress in the back, I think that's the strongest play from Surge that he can play. It cannot be easily punished unless Guriko has the pig to counter-attack instantly on the opposite side, exploiting the lack of elixir from Surge. Evo Mega Knight played in the back once again. If he played that, actually can be very easily exploited, as the pigs have to come down instantly. Mega Minion will come down to pick off the Magic Archer and get some solid damage on the left side of the arena. Evo Ghost plus Evo Mega Knight will wreak some havoc, and Void to weaken all the troops inside the circle to make a path for the Ram Rider to finish them all. Very well done combo from Surgical Goblin. Now getting Spirit Empress on the tower, getting 3 hits on the board, and 566 separates Surgical from taking a set number 2. Goblin Cage played in the back, and Mega Minion instantly getting a lock on the evolved cage in case he wants to get rid of it at any point. Mega Knight should come down at the bridge, and it does. Mega Minion has targeted the Magic Archer, but it has been taken care of, and very well timed Royal Hogs to counter-attack. Right now Surgical Goblin has to focus more on defense, as these Royal Hogs are getting a lot of damage, and his push did not make that much of a impact. 233 on the Surge's tower, and suddenly Guriko is just making an absolutely magnificent comeback. Ram Rider has to come down. Ram Rider has been stalled by Fireball, and Surgical Goblin unfortunately will be dropping in the game number 3. Let's go here and spectate Inflow instead. There we go. And he's gonna be playing against Venters, playing his Giant Skeleton, Battle Ram meta deck that he really likes to run in this tournament, and he's gonna be actually playing a very similar mirror matchup with small amount of caveats in having Mother Witch instead of Magic Archer, most likely trying to snipe some kind of bait or graveyard play. Mother Witch, a very good dual pick, covering 2 archetypes. If you run with a Mother Witch instead of one of these 2, your opponent will be having a very terrible time. But if you don't get these matchups, Mother Witch will be pretty much a sitting duck doing virtually nothing. Right now Intro maintaining the tempo of the game, trying to break through with the Giant Skeleton, Lumberjack in Kai. And right now Giant Skeleton will create a very dangerous pathway for this Batram. The Vines have to come down on defense, and they do. Batram will be stopped in his tracks, but it's still gonna connect with a regular damage, not a charge one. And Barbarians will get on the tower. Infill with a commanding lead, 807, remaining on the right side tower. Golden Knight played at the bridge from intro, Fireball to pick off the Magic Archer, and Golden Knight just barely not making it to the tower that the intro was looking for that connection. Zap is split for both players, making sure that no Battle Ram play is available, and right now Vamper is trying to sell out on his advantage, getting Battle Ram to connect, and that's gonna be a big time damage for the adversary of the Polish player. However, the huge downhill push from Infil, making way for the Battle Ram to connect with the Fireball on the Zappies, and right now the Magic Archer will connect on the Golden Knight, and unfortunately Infil will be dropping his Doom as well. Very close game 3. But Infil will be dropping, and he's gonna be at a score of 1-1. Looking at the different games, I assume there's gonna be only games in Group A, so let's watch the EGW versus Sub. It's gonna be game 3 as well. Sub trying to come back after a very unfortunate start of the tournament, getting 0-1. Right now 1-1 against EGW, trying to bounce back and get his win on the board. Poison gets played, it's gonna take out the US, but the Baby Dragon is outside of the radius, and it's gonna be a huge nuisance for the Sub to come. Evo Snowball is gonna get forced out, Musketeer in play, and right now some kind of a night play has to be played. EGW opting to play for Lightning, and Sub cannot go for the counter play to take advantage of the spending of a 6 elixir. He will have to reset, he will have to respect the Mega Knight, and the Graveyard right now comes down as Sub is in a desperate need of damage. Gets a Snowball down to make sure that some Skeletons can get some value. Lightning comes down for EGW, and Spear Goblins will be just barely not enough to connect. There should be a bomb tower to pick off a Ramrel, and it does. And right now Sub should be opting to play Knight and Graveyard instantly, as there are 10 seconds left in this game. He has to play Poison, and he has to play Snowball as well, predicting the Hero Goblins. Some Skeletons are getting connections, but the Lightning will be sufficient for EGW, and Sub starting the tournament as well. Once again, a huge upset. EGW takes a win, and Sub will start the tournament 0-2. Definitely surprising result. Sub definitely not bringing his A game in this tournament, as he drops sets, 2 sets in fact back to back, and will not be leading the group. In fact, he's gonna be on a dead bottom with COK and Madison Beer. Tanjiro, EGW and John 77 will be the winners, and Pedro, actually another huge surprise. Let's check his matchup. Will be dropping a set to a Tanjiro. Very interesting to see. The new round got announced, so let's check it group by group. Tanjiro will be facing Droy, EGW Madison, John 77 will be playing against Pedro, and Sub will be taking on COK. Sandbox will be taking on Vampire, Rakan will be playing against Guriko, Intro will be playing against Kafer, Hubi, and Surgical Goblin will be facing Deaths. Bedfast will be facing Evolve, Adriel will be facing Michael, Rainbow will be facing Inferno, and Kimchi will be facing Monpa. Not that much of an interesting thing in Group C. Ruben will be taking on Eric, Coach, and Molejas will be facing Rin. Lucas will be playing Sandbelikin. That's definitely a game that we can potentially watch. And Mohammed, not Mohammed Light, just Mohammed will be facing against Titan. I think either Lucas, Sandbelikin, or we're gonna be expecting the Group D most likely. Morton will be taking on Sosa, German standoff. Definitely interesting to see as well. Victor will be taking Nubi. Crobat will be facing Coco, and OP Sam will be facing Christian Gifo. Ta will be facing Sinister, Turan will be taking on Samuel Basoto, Batan will be playing against the Russian guy that I still didn't look up, and Soaks will be facing against Maya. Group G, Mohamed Light will be playing against Furkan, another interesting one to see. Ian77 against Zufi, and Italian player in Musi will be facing Clown, Korean player will be facing Adnan, and Group H, Riley will be facing Mortar, Asaf will be facing Celestial Vow, Nikogo will be facing Retard, and Raphael will be facing Ijihu. So let's focus on Group D for now. There are gonna be two interesting matchups in Lucas against San Belikin and Mohamed versus Titan. Let's look up some games while we're at it. That's in Yuzi, and this Korean guy, I'm gonna try to look him up as well. There we go. This guy is Wu. Okay, so the Korean in Group G is apparently Wu, another new player to this scene. We're gonna see how he's gonna fare in this tournament. Definitely a newcomer, I didn't hear about him before. Let's check out Lucas against San Belkin, definitely interesting matchup. Lucas brings a Zap Evolved and Tombstone in game 1, most likely be going to run some kind of Lava Hound. Lava Hound most likely with Spirit Empress, maybe with Balloon. San Belikin bring in the Goblin Cage and Baby Dragon, so most likely some kind of Giant play or Lava in kind. Okay, Lucas actually bringing the Executioner, expecting San Belikin running a beatdown, so very good pick from a Brazilian. And he brings a Giant Skeleton as well, pretty much hard sniping beatdown, you just gotta love to see it. Beautiful pick from Lucas, trying to instantly go for a brilliant matchup, and Executioner will be on the tower, so San Belikin taking a lot of unnecessary damage at the start of the game. So far so good. After opening exchange, Lucas ahead in Elixir and ahead by like 600 damage. Lucas playing Miner as well, so most likely we're opting to see some kind of a Balloon play. Last cards being Balloon and maybe Tornado. San Belikin going for the Night Witch, so most likely some kind of a Golem play. Adrian can cycle in the corner to pick off the remaining troops, and Bomber very aggressively at the bridge to instantly pressure against the Tombstone. Lucas will promptly let it go and cycle Giant Skeleton instantly. Go the Knight in kind. The Balloon comes down in from Lucas, so it's gonna be a Balloon play with Giant Skeleton, Miner and Executioner. San Belikin most likely will have the Tornado to pull the Balloon to the King Tower, and it does. Giant Skeleton will take care of the all counter pushing units, and right now it's Lucas, even though he gives up a King Tower activation, in a very commanding position against this Golem play. San Belikin cycles the Evo Executioner against the incoming push, a very valid play to make, as the Evo Executioner still being one of the strongest defensive cards in the game. Getting double damage the moment something gets personal and close. Against these Golem Eyes, they will stand no chance. San Belikin definitely getting some kind of a value play with the Lightning against the Executioner, and right now delaying the move out of the Balloon, trying to buy himself some time to whittle down the Balloon itself. Goblin Cage will survive one hit, and it's gonna actually pretty much secure the health of the San Belikin's tower. Giant Skeleton in play. Night Witch in kind. And instantly Lucas goes in aggressively, predicting the Golem at the bridge, but San Belikin decides to opt defend with just a troops. Balloon comes down the lane as the Lightning is out of cycle. Miner will not be there to tank for the Balloon. It's gonna be a reverse situation where the Balloon tanks for the Miner, allowing the Miner to get the guaranteed damage, and Balloon being just an expensive distraction. Gen Skeleton in play to tank for the Baby Dragon, and instantly Skeleton Dragons to pick off the potential Goblin Cage that will be there to absorb the Giant Skeleton. Miner to pick off the Bomber. Definitely not the play that Lucas expected. He wants to get damage with these balloons, and Baby Dragon will be very well timed to stop the balloon from getting any damage. However, Skeleton Dragons with their newly buffed splash damage will not only take the Baby Dragon, this Skeleton Dragon also gets a lot of damage. The Skeleton Bomber gets on the Golem, gets some damage, but that's definitely not a play that Lucas wanted. Now he needs to defend this downhill push that will come down with a lightning as well. Baby Dragon to pick up the Tombstone, but the Skeleton Dragons will block it. Both players opt to Nado, and I think this exchange just benefits Lucas as the Executioner is a brutal troop on defense. Sandbalakin sending some emoji as he knows that this game slips through his fingers. Not even slowly but surely, but decisively at this point, as there are only 10 seconds till the regulation is over. Lucas gets some final damage with the Balloon Death Drop and evils up, and that's gonna be GG, well played. Lucas takes game number 1. Let's see what happens in the adjacent match. In Titan versus Mohammed, the game is still up, but the tiebreaker will be in favor of the Mohammed, so Titan unfortunately dropping a game number 1. Sad to see that. Let's check the brackets as well. Most notably try to check the battles and find intro. There we go. He played a game 1 against Kiefer Hubi and unfortunately lost, as Kiefer Hubi with an excellent snipe against Lava Hound with RG and Hero Wizard, which pretty much shuts down any lava play early or late game. Unless you can get both Fireball and Zap on Hero Wizard, you're not breaking through, and RG player will not allow you to set up a Lava Hound and still be up Elixir to afford the double spell on the Wizard. So very good matchup for Kiefer Hubi intro, unfortunately dropping game number 1. Still 5 battles active. Retired still in game. I think we may try to spectate him. And we can. There's still game to play, 18 seconds. Retired with a Hog Earthquake. This time actually not Earthquake but the Lightning instead. And we can see that Hog Lightning has been faring way better than Hog EQ today, getting way more value against the support troops and being way more flexible of a deck, giving no chance for Nikoko to get any meaningful damage on the tower. Retired will be running away with a game 1 win. And that's gonna be pretty much a wrap on the game number 1 on round 3. Let's also check on Adriel, one of the favorites of Group C, in a very commanding lead with a Drill Cycle against what we can see is the Raw Hawk Cycle with Dark Prince and Lightning. I assume that's gonna be the last card. There we go. And Adriel will claim the game number 1 as he gets a monstrous advantage with a Drill and most likely Evo Snowball play on Dark Prince in a double Elixir earlier on the match. It's gonna be a wrap for games number 1. We're gonna prepare for games number 2. Both Intro and Titan drop the game once. Very unfortunate scenario. We'll be spectating one of these guys playing out the game number 2 and seeing how they're gonna fare later during the day. If I recall correctly, Titan right now is 0-2 in his group, and let's check the rankings. Inflow is 1-1, yes, and that's actually a very tight group. Like everyone is at 1-1 except for Sandbox and Das. And in Group D, unfortunately, Titan being 0-2 and losing the game number 1 as well. So definitely Titan not in the best spot. Mohammed line obviously to 0. Pedro should be... Pedro is not in... Oh, Pedro is in this group. He's 1-1, interesting. Riley 1-1. Ian actually 0-2, so Ian definitely not having a good tournament as well. Let's check the battles. Like so. Let's look for Ian 77. He has been losing a dual set against Clown and against Newsy from Italy. I have to remember that. Right now playing against Zufi, taking a game number 1 win with a comfort Hoggy Q versus Lava Lightning. I wouldn't say very pleasant matchup for Ian, but definitely outplayable if you know how to play on the tempo, and if there's any guy that knows how to play the Hawk Earthquake, it's gonna be him. So bringing out the comfort, getting a win on the board, definitely happy to see that from Ian, as he will try to work on that and try to come back to this tournament. Very nice to see. We're gonna be 90 seconds away from our next games. Like I've said, most likely we'll be watching Titan versus Mohamed. Unless there are any suggestions in the chat which game do you want to see, then I'm gonna pretty much switch it. Because I'm gonna be tracking these guys anyway. Titan and Intro, obviously. Polish pro players. And me, being from Poland as well, having huge expectations from these guys to make a run for it. Obviously cheering for these guys as well. They have a big time opportunity to qualify to the monthly finals. Just wishing them the best, that they can run away with a grub win on this day. Still 40 seconds left. So far not looking well for Titan, as he is 0-2 in his grab. Still can fight for the second place, that still gives the qualification for the next day. But yeah, not looking well. He will have to get some good wins as from battles. From battles, he took a loss against Ruben and Enel Molejas, one of the higher seeds in this grab. Right now Titan has to focus on getting wins against potentially weaker players, so he can bounce back in this graph and potentially win. He still has matches left against players like Lucas, who I believe also is kind of a higher seed, I guess, Eric and San Belican, so definitely not easy matchups. But if you want to get a good run, you have to pretty much believe in your abilities. Right now you won't learn anything new, you just have to play your best game. And Titan in game number 2 bringing in a Goblin Hat and Poison against the Furnace. So far playing very passively and defensively, trying to not make any mistakes early on. I think that's a good way of recomposing yourself, but at the same time opening a lot of opportunities for his adversary. Mohamed bringing in a Skeleton Barrel, so interesting matchup is gonna be for him. Titan, I can only assume, will be playing the Giant Skeleton Graveyard with Evo Bats, very popular deck on ladder and grand challenges as well. And Mohamed will actually be bringing a Mortar Bait, getting a very early Mortar Lock and opting to eat the damage on the tower, trying to set up a vicious counterplay. Goblin Cut in play, trying to spawn some Spear Goblins to support the Giant Skeleton. And this plan actually not a bad idea, except these Spear Goblins, actually I like this idea. Furnace is dead, Goblin Hut is in play, and so far against, I would say, a difficult matchup for Titan, only behind 700 damage, where the single elixir is the most difficult time to survive at. Furnace being played in the back, and Mohamed right now cannot kill it. He has to counterplay or set a can card in the back against this Furnace, and he does. Giant Skeleton in play, trying to pressure a bit. This Giant Skeleton will not kill the Raskolgers unless Raskolgers I think will go down to the bomb, and they do. Beautiful kill for the Titan, pressuring with the Skeleton King and getting minions in kind. Fire Spirit will come down, trying to protect the Furnace, and the Skeleton King gets the ability, so very good send from Titan, getting a lot of skeletons, and right now Mohammed will be in dire straits. Playing Goblin's ability last second, but it's not gonna be enough, and Titan, with a very good outmaneuver, will get a tower down. 40 seconds till the end of the regulation, and right now Mohammed has to come up with some kind of a comeback mechanic to try to steal this game back, and I don't think he's gonna even bothering. He's not playing any card. Titan has this set tied up and will be looking to get a win in game number 3. Let's jump back to a inflows game, as we're gonna be tracking this on the side as well. If I recall correctly, inflow, actually let me check it. Battles in Frill. Yes, he lost the game number 1 against Caper Kubi, so right now he's gonna be looking for a win to extend his run against this player in game number 3 with a very aggressive hyper bait. Gets one wall breaker on the hut and the second on the tower, and a lot of damage from the bait cards. 34 HP left. Log will finish it off. Infrill ties the set, and will be looking for the game number 3 as well. Very nice to see from a Polish pro. We're gonna be jumping to this. There are a lot of games. I think I'm gonna stick to Group B and try to see the Guriko against Rakan. Rakan, a very well-known lava player, known from pushing multiple accounts on ladder every single season in being consistent with lava no matter the meta. Guriko, at the same time, Japanese pro player who qualified multiple times to the World Finals already, trying to upset the Rakan. Lumberjack being in play, Hunter as well, very aggressive defense from Guriko at the bridge, not a big fan, as he spends a lot of elixir trying to set up a downhill push, and he does. Fireball is being played to remove the Zappies, but RG won't be making to the tower. Right now Guriko has to be very careful with this defense. As the roll goes, he will make it to the tower. The Battle Ram is making his way to the tower as well, and is gonna get a healthy connection. Rakan in a commanding lead to take this game number 2. Lumberjack dice will bring a ghost down, and right now there's not much of a counter push that Guriko can go for. I think at some point in this matchup you have to go for the RG on the opposite side, as against Zappies you have to hold the fireball against them, and then Skeleton Shackles will get like the freest value of all time. So Rakan taking the game number 2. It may be a game sad match, but I'm not sure. I wasn't tracking this matchup, so let me check it. Battles, I believe these guys are at 1-1. Rakan facing a Guriko, and he's gonna be tying things down as Guriko took a game number 1. Let's see the active battles as well. Maybe we're gonna catch something interesting. I don't think we do. Let's watch EGW. This guy is also always bringing a very interesting decks to the table. And he is with the Mega Knight Graveyard and Witch. Definitely not the style of play that we used to see in CRL, but this guy is always playing these interesting decks, so you just gotta love to see some kind of a mid-ladder menacing type of decks in the CRL, adding a spice up and reminding players that even though you can defend Mega Knight, you're not guaranteed to do so under a heavy pressure that EGW will be trying to apply. Mega Knight resets in the back, Furnace in kind. EGW preparing for a downhill push, and this Furnace will be picked off completely by the poison. Mega Knight definitely kited to the opponent's side of the board, but stays on his side, preventing Valkyrie from getting any value, and right now Mega Knight will be doubled down. EGW with a commanding lead, preparing to play his graveyard, and he does. Furnace has to come down on offense against the Evo Furnace, and Snowball as well, pushing the Evo Furnace outside of the poison. I would say a big mistake from EGW, but at the same time gets a lot of damage with the Mega Knight, and right now he's pretty much one defense away from taking this set. Mega Minion and Go set up to pick off the skeletons. Barbaro will be played and has to be picked off. One hit from the Barbaro, and Poison and Snowball I think should seal the deal. One more Poison from Madison, but it's not gonna matter. EGW had too big of a lead by far and takes the game number 2. Gonna check. EGW most likely. No, EGW. Where is he? EGW. He was at 2-0, and right now he's picking off another win. So EGW is so far 3-0 in his group with a very dominant performance, winning against Droy, winning against Sub, huge upset, and now getting a win against Madison Beer. This guy definitely has a momentum on his side. Other players with 3-0 score are Ruben beating Eric 2-0, Mohamed Light, to no one's surprise, getting 3-0 score as well, beating Furkan, and Adriel beating his 3 opponents, so far on the easier side but still dominating the Group C. Also at 3-0 is Newsy getting a win against Clown, and Bedfast getting the win against Evolve, Monpan and Michael Olisei. Also Tanjiro at 3-0 beating Pedro, COK and Roy. So 7 players at 3-0 score, very interesting to see. Right now obviously we're gonna be preparing for the game 3s, where Titan and Intrill will be competing to close their set in their favor. Very interesting to see what our players will bring down to the table. We obviously hope for the best possible gameplay. If you want to see any other players, you can drop your suggestions in the chat. If you want, I'm gonna just stick to players that I cheer for, being obviously Titan and Intrill, hoping that we can get at least one of the guys from Poland to the monthly finals. That's gonna happen. That's gonna be happening in a week. 35 seconds from the next match. And just waiting, seeing how the groups form. I'm very surprised that in Group A, that I thought will be a very clear sweep from Pedro and Sub. Definitely these guys do not have the best tournaments so far. Pedro being 1-1 and forced to duke it out in game number 3, and Sub starting the tournament with 2 losses, right now bouncing back with a win, with a set win actually. Gonna check who it was against. Cal Sub. 2-0 win against COK in drill matchup against RG. I would say definitely not an easy matchup for RG, but an advantageous one, so getting a good win against RG. And game number 2, getting a win against Goblin Jew with a pig cycle, which I would say is a 50-50 matchup, so good win for his up, bouncing back after a rough start to the tournament. Right now we're gonna be waiting for Intrill, and we're gonna be waiting for Titan, who is waiting for his opponent already to start off a game number 3. See if Intrill is in the game. No, Intrill is still thinking about his deck choice, and I couldn't agree more with that. You want to make sure that you don't repeat any cards in this format. If you use 16 cards in your first 2 decks in the match against one guy, you have to make sure you're not repeating a single card, as if you repeat at least one, you will be granted a match loss instantly and your opponent will get a way easier time of getting a win than he was supposed to. Titan opts to pick a Mortar Bait in game number 3 against Mohamed, who, by the looks of that, will be playing some kind of a minor control deck. It's gonna be very important whether it's gonna be Poison or Rocket, as the Rocket cycle will be gaining the advantage only in triple elixir, and Titan instantly going for the minion horde at the bridge, trying to exploit the fact that Mohamed doesn't have a good minion horde response except for this delivery that just got cycled. So Titan with a very good sand, getting 300 damage in the bag and getting an early game advantage. Goblin Gang to pick off the Ice Spirit and trying to pick off as much damage from the miner as is physically possible. Goblin Gang will harass the tower on the right side, getting a fair chunk of damage, forcing the Mohammed to be mindful about the both towers, as the every seasoned player should be doing. Titan definitely in a commanding position, but the game is not over, as Mohammed will be playing a Miner Rocket, the most defensive deck in the game, focusing on perfect defenses and Rocket Cycle in double and triple elixir. We'll see how this match will gonna fare. Titan, I think, has definitely the huge advantage in single elixir. He should be exploiting that by playing very aggressively, and the later the game goes, the more the matchup will switch, so Titan has to play dynamically to get as much advantage now as is physically possible. Now splitting the evolved minion horde. In addition to the game, minion horde will have to be controlled by the Doral delivery, just like that. And Mohammed doing a very good job by countering 5 with just 3. One minion will get on the tower, getting Titan an important damage in this matchup. Against Miner control, you don't want to go for the big explosive attacks that can swipe your tower in one go. You want to chip them away with 300-400 damage, forcing out the defensive rockets just like that, and forcing an uncomfortable trade where the rocket cycle player has to overspend on defense and not be able to apply any offensive pressure like this Miner plus prediction logs against this Goblin Gang. So once again, Titan making it practically as annoying for Mohammed as is physically possible, getting the minion horde that has to be picked up by delivery, getting the mortar protected by the knight against Evo Tesla. And right now, Mohammed finds a timing window where he can play Miner, and he gets a lot of damage. Titan's Miner picked off by the guards in kind, and mortar will be on the tower, so if Titan were to protect the mortar just for one more second, he would have gotten a second hit that would be setting him for a huge advantage, but he opts to cycle instead and set up another mortar to extend his pressure. That's a correct way of playing. You don't want to overcommit to one of your offensive tools. You want to respect your opponent that he can defend your offensive units, and you just want to make sure that you're as annoying as it's physically possible with the next ones to come. Miner gets a lot of damage, minion horde in kind, and delivery will be forced to play against minion horde, but 3 minions will be surviving, courtesy of this evolution of a minion horde. Being built the way it is, after tower shoots a minion, the minion becomes invulnerable and it cannot be killed by royal delivery, so good choice of Titan just cycling the Evo minion horde at the bridge. Miner gets on the tower and Evo Mortar gets on the tower. That's a huge lock for Titan. If he can protect the Mortar for one more shot, he's gonna have this game in the bag, and he does. One more Goblin shot. Just one Miner hit separates the game from being over, and Titan takes the game down, getting his first set win of the day. Beautiful comeback from a Polish Xbox player. Let's see how the things fare in the Group B, and apparently we've missed the entire match of Intrail. So let me just see how did he fare, and from what I see on my laptop, Intrail is actually at 2-1, so he won a third match against Kiefer Hubi in a Giant Skeleton Battle Ram matchup against a Giant Skeleton Balloon, where he had Zappies, and that makes a lot of sense. Zappy is one of the best responses ever to be made against the Balloon, absolutely nullifying the aggressive pressure from Kiefer Hubi. That makes a lot of sense, and Intrail will be also taking a win right here. From the interesting matchups, I think we're gonna watch the last game of the Morten versus Sosa, the battle of the Germans. Let's see how it's gonna fare. Morten playing with the Hyperblade and Sosa playing with the Drill, and Morten will be getting a win against Sosa, big time win for Morten, extending his run in this tournament. Actually, let me check where the Morten even is settled. SK Morten. There it is. He's at 2-1, getting a win against Coco, losing against Crobat, and now getting a win against his countryman in Sosa. Very good stuff to see. both Polish players taking a set in this round number 3. And apparently there are like still games in the group F, so let's just spectate Ta. Unfortunately losing to Sinistro. Unfortunate loss for a Japanese, who right now I believe will be 1 and 2 on the tournament. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Ta actually will be 2 and 1. That's his first loss. He won his first 2 games and only now picking off a loss against Sinistro. So definitely still not a too bad tournament for him. Let's see the Sinistro. He's also 2 and 1. A lot of people obviously had 2 and 1. That's expected. We expect not that many players to have 3-0 runs. We have 8 in total. And I assume every single player that is 3-0 is from a different group. Let me check that. Let's check the rankings. Should be actually 2 players with 3-0 in Group A, no 3-0s in Group B, 2 3-0s in Group C, 1 3-0 in Group D, no 3-0 in Group E, no in Group F, 2 3-0s in Group G, and 1 in Group H. Obviously Mohamed Light being expected to be one of the players to go 3-0. As of the surprises, I would say definitely not expected to see Rafael Nadal in this group, not expected to see Tanjiro, and another huge upset I would say is EGW, who is known in the community for playing very weird, unexpected decks. Also picking off some good wins, most notably against Sub. Matches have been announced, let's check them out together. In Group B, in Group B, Infra will be facing against Sandbox. That's gonna be interesting one to watch. And Titan will be facing Coach Eric. So that's gonna be a secondary match we'll be running today. And through different matches, we're gonna be seeing Ruben against Sanbelikin. Mohamed Light will be playing against Musi, who is also at 3-0. In Group H, I believe we are tracking Riley, and he's gonna be facing against Retired, who is also having a good run in 2 and 1. Group A, Tanjiro will be playing against Sub. Tanjiro absolutely on fire today. He's going to be facing Sub, who is struggling, but we know Sub is runner-up from last year, so he's most likely going to be doing a comeback. Pedro also 3rd place in 2025. We're going to be facing Joy. Both of these guys not having the tournament of their lives. Pedro expected to go 3-0 in his group today, but starting off the day by losing, definitely not something that he planned. Right now we'll be trying to get a win against Joy as well. Vitor will be playing against SK Morton. Interesting matchup in Group E. I would say that's the highlight of this matchup. In Group F, nothing interesting. Maybe Ta against Batam. In Group G, we already concluded Mohamed Light versus Newsy. Both these guys having absolute blast of a tournament. And that's gonna be pretty much about it. I think we're gonna focus on the Group B, Infril versus Sandbox. That's going to be an interesting matchup, as Infril will be pretty much, I would say, facing the best player in this group. You can argue that maybe Surgical is better, although I wouldn't make this argument in 2026, or maybe Guriko is better, also a very talented Japanese player. I'm gonna assume that there's no 3-0, so Sandbox being 2 and 1, definitely leading the group. Let's watch this match together. Infril will be on the bottom side of the screen, Sandbox on the top, and he brings the Mega Knight to the battlefield, absolutely decimating the Bataram and Giant Skeleton brought from Sandbox. Infril going for a low elixir spend, trying to pressure his opponent, selling out with the Spirit Empress and guards in kind. Spirit Empress will make a short work of the Dark Prince that is on such a low HP that right now it's gonna be taken out by the tower alone, and Infril does not have to overspend on that. Plays the Hog to maintain the tempo, and Sandbox kinda caught with no elixir to defend. Hog will get 4 hits total, and Mother Witch definitely with not enough sufficient of a counterplay to punish this Hog play. lock in kind from intro. I don't think that log was necessary. I think you just eat this Mother Witch, but he is there, and I'm at home casting his matches, so maybe I should just shut up and watch how it's being done. Infro with 2 and 1, definitely a good performance in his grab. There's no 3 and 0, so technically he's a leader of his grab. Let's see if he's gonna fare. He spends a lot of elixir to defend this battle run. Still takes the charge and forces the giant skeleton. On the opposite side, players definitely even on elixir. We'll see if Intro decides to protect the magic archer, and he does. 1586 on the left side tower, and this giant skeleton will have to be kited back, or it's gonna drop a bomb on the tower. Lock, I don't think it's gonna be enough. This bomb will be on the tower, bringing it down to 1773. A big mistake from a Polish player. Evening out the game just with 500 HP for Intro to work with. Dark Prince will come down on the left side, and Hero Wizard cycled in the back. Intro forced to give up a Evil Lumberjack, definitely a brilliant tool to potentially pressure his opponents. And now gonna be forced out prematurely. Evil Lumberjack will get a good shot against Hero Wizard, but you would always expect more. Lock will clean up the Hero Wizard, and Magic Archer will be saved by Infro. Very smart play. Now Lumberjack has to come down to kite the Ghost away. The Ghost cannot go to the tower, and right now Hog will have to do some smart kiting in order to prevent the downhill push from making so much damage. Spirit Empress will win a 1v1 against Mother Witch, and both players kinda reset for another bridge fight. Spirit Empress will have to target down everything, and Evo Mega Knight finally makes its appearance on the battlefield, protecting the Magic Archer, and Lumberjack going behind that to make sure that this push is as annoying to deal for Sandbox as is physically possible. Lumberjack will keep fighting at the bridge, and right now Spirit Empress, I would say a big mistake from Info. He wanted the Spirit Empress to be in the ground form as it has more damage per second, and it potentially can tank. Info, I would say, with a big mistake, playing the air form of a Spirit Empress when Sandbox was just playing at 0, and Sandbox will be the player to get a game 1 right here, right now. Let's check the group D. If the Titan is still in the game, and he's not, so Titan already solved his issues, for better or for worse. And I think we're gonna be just watching Pedro versus Droid. That's gonna be interesting. Okay, they also ended their game, so there won't be any Pedro versus Droid action. Let's check the active battles that are remaining on. Yeah, let's check the Tanjiro versus Sub. Obviously, you would love Sub to make a comeback in this tournament. Not only for him to appear in multi-finals, which he does very often, but also for Tanjiro to finally lose. This guy is having the blast of a tournament. Sub bringing in a Hawk Earthquake in game 1 against Lava Hound Empress deck. I would say a pleasant matchup for Sub, as Hog EQ with Mighty Miner especially historically been scoring very well against Lava Hound decks with a high pressure, and Firecracker right now on the opposite line. Tanjiro making a huge mistake getting a Spirit Empress in front of the Lava Hound, and this Empress is getting a lock. I would say a big mistake from Sub, letting the Spirit Empress go. You have to defend this girl, and the lightning won't be enough. Sub will be losing game number 1. Definitely not an S tier gameplay, as he makes a huge mistake allowing the Spirit Empress to connect on the tower. See, Group D, we still have a Ruben versus Sandalikin, so let's spectate that. Okay, so apparently the game just ended. Yes, it did. Let's go for Vitor versus Morten. That's gonna be also a very interesting match. Vitor 75 on the bottom of the screen with the Miner Marcher Wall Breakers, and Morten will be running the exact same deck. So we have a mirror matchup between the leaders of the graph. Evo Bats for both players, and Vitor with a very good lineup against the left side tower. 802, make it 658 to work with versus 1k damage. Wall breakers will make a run for the tower and none of them connect, just barely being stopped by Evo Bats. Miner being played from Vitor, trying to mitigate damage on the left side and nothing will happen. Vitor 75 picking off the game number 1 against the German. Beautiful stuff in group E. Let's see if we have more matches potentially to spectate. Let's see if Mohamed Light can close it against Newsy. Getting a very pleasant matchup, I would say. Golem beatdown against Hog, Giant Skeleton. I don't see how Mohamed Light will ever lose that. Right now, all he has to do is drop his spells. Fireball plus Log. Here comes the Fireball. Log probably being saved just in case something happens. And Mohamed Light will be taking the game number 1 against Newsy. The battle of the leaders of the group as well. And that, I believe, was the last matchup of the round. Maybe we're gonna catch some of the Asa versus Nikoko as well. Let's see if we can. I don't think we can. Yeah, that was a last one. So we're gonna have matches number 2 very shortly. Okay, I see you, Bergist. Hello to the stream. We absolutely can watch Riley next. Let me see who Riley is even up against. I don't remember it being interesting, but we absolutely can watch Riley if you want to. Riley. Okay, either I'm missing him or he's not having a good tournament. I think he was 2-1. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's 2-1 and he has been facing retired. Okay, we can watch this matchup absolutely. Riley will be playing against Retired. That's actually an interesting matchup because I've been cheering for Retired. He's a very huge underdog and he has made it once to the monthly finals last year, so definitely huge fan of this guy from Slovakia. He won against Riley in game number 1, playing a Mega Knight Wizard Hog Rider deck, very weird type of deck against Hockey Q from Riley, so we can watch definitely the game number 2. Right now Riley up against a corner will be trying to bounce back. Yes, we can watch Riley. As for now, I'm mostly tracking 2 players in this tournament, being it Infrel and Titan, both players being a Polish pro players. I just want at least one of them, in perfect words, 2 of them to make it to the monthly finals and basically show people that Polish players can play Clash Royale as well. But yeah, CC requested it. We're gonna be watching Riley versus Retired in game number 2. Riley and Retired having a good tournament. Only Rafael, let me check exactly, Group H. Rafael Nadal with a brilliant performance, having 3-0 in a group, and a big 3-way tie between Celestia, Val, Riley and Retired for the 2nd place in the group. We will see who is gonna take this game right here and who's gonna crumble and try to fight for the remainder of the tournament. So yeah, 17 seconds left. We're very close to starting the round. Let's see if our players do have their decks ready. Riley versus Retired. I can even watch this game from the Riley's perspective if you want to. 1 second and here we go. We're starting the games. Obviously there are like a lot of interesting groups to check out. I think the group B will be the most interesting, as even though there are like clear favorites like Sandbox and Guriko. Guriko is actually not having a good tournament. He's starting off like as 1-2 and he will try to come back. And Riley instantly ready with the deck, waiting for the Retired to pick his counter deck. Retired wasted a lot of like his big cards, so no Mega Knight, no Evil Lumberjack, no Hero Wizard. I think Riley will try to exploit it and go to the skies, because also a lot of pressure cards are out, so Lava seems like a very logical pick for game number 2. For Retired, if he knows that he's gonna face against Lava, I will try to go for some kind of Evo Executioner stuff, as it covers Lava Hound and any like kind of beatdown, and also it covers Goblinger, which Riley, I know, he likes to run when he's up a game. Riley right now down a game, so maybe not going to the golden drill, but still it has to be something that you have to cover. Here we go. Riley versus Retired, game number 2. Riley will be starting off with a Barbara and Retired will be respond with Ghost. Okay, so after the first 2 cards, I'm assuming Riley will be running a Pig cycle with Magic Archer and Retired with Evo Ghost and Battle Ram. I can only assume he's gonna bring some kind of a bridge spam, maybe even P.E.K.K.A bridge spam. No, it's gonna be a Giant Skeleton bridge spam, and since he wasted a Hero Wizard, it's gonna be a Giant Skeleton bridge spam, most likely with Zappies and Magic Archer. I can only assume. Riley bringing obviously the Pig's cycle. Last cards will be Fireball and Royal Hogs. And Retired actually brings the Spirit Empress, trying to abuse Retired not having a good response against it, and I think the Retired is correct. Riley will be running a Fireball, which is not the best response, and Retired will be having an excellent response against Magic Archer in Rage plus Arrows. Riley though will be having uncounterable pigs. In order for Retired to counter the pigs, he will have to play the Ghost plus something to fully counter it, and if he won't do that, he'll have to give up damage every single time the pigs appear on the board. So I would say a very imbalanced and interesting matchup. We'll see who's gonna come out on top. Pigs come down on the board. Like I've said, every time pigs will be played, the damage will be there for Riley, so good recognition from the Canadian. And right now Retired preparing for a very big downhill counter push, setting up Giant Skeleton, Spirit Empress on the ground and Bandit. Rage plus Arrows to take off the Magic Archer from the board. And right now I would say Riley with a commanding lead, sending the Evo Pigs as well. Evo Ghost will be the response of choice, but the tower will still go down. And Riley looking very confident in this game number 2, trying to bring it back. Giant Skeleton tanking for the Evo Ram. That's a very common combo that you can see on the ladder, and there's no spell to break through this Goblin Cut. Fireball from Riley to make sure nothing happens in the game 2, and I think we're looking at the tie down set 1 and 1. After that it's all gonna come down to a game number 3, Riley duking it out against Retired. Right now Riley probably takes the game here, so I'm gonna quickly exit that and spectate Titan against Eric. I believe it's a Spanish not content creator, but like he has been coaching Liquid in 2019, and Titan manages to get a win with a Giant Skeleton Battle Ram as well. Very popular deck this tournament, and Titan makes it work in game number 1. Infril, however, will be taking on the Sandbox, and he's gonna be playing the Giant Skeleton Graveyard, also a very popular ladder deck. Very venomous one. You pretty much abuse the fact that Furnace, Giant Skeleton and Graveyard are very strong cards at the moment. You mash them all in the same deck, and you try to pretty much apply as much annoying pressure against your opponent as it's physically possible, while having Goblin Hut to bail yourself out from awkward defenses. And at the same time, Sandbox will be playing some kind of a minor Mega Knight deck, trying to basically make sure that he has the minor cycle against most of the cycle decks, and having Mega Knight to pretty much punish the potential tank win conditions like Giant, Goblin Giant, RG maybe. And right now that's gonna actually pay off. Mega Knight is on the tower, getting it down to below 1300, and Sandbox will take the game number 2 against Infril. Very close game. But unfortunately, Infril was not able to control the Mega Knight properly, and Sandbox will be taking the game number 2. If I recall correctly, Infril took the game number 1, but let me just double check it. Infril, he's 2 and 2, so Sandbox actually took the game number 1. So Infril unfortunately will drop down in this set. Let's see how Titan is
faring in this tournament, also 2-2, so he actually took 2 wins, 2 games up, 2 games down against Eric. Very comfortable win. And right now, since our 2 Polish players have ended their set, Titan bringing back, getting a 2 score, and Infernal unfortunately dropping to Sandbox, I think we can watch the game number 3 of Riley versus Retired to basically see who of these guys will take a 3-1 score in the group H. But for now, we still have like some active battles. Let's say how Mohamed Light is fighting against Niuzi, a Italian pro player. Even though he has a Chinese nickname, it is an Italian player. Don't get mistaken. I also got surprised by that. And Hog Rider comes down from Niuzi with this Mega Knight Hog Rider Magic Archer type of a creation. Mohamed Light bringing a Goblin Drill with Mighty Miner, trying to potentially snipe some heavy tanks, and he definitely gets a good snipe as Mega Knight is as heavy as it gets. 2 Furnaces from Mohamed Light, controlling the board left, right and center. There's nowhere for Niuzi to break through. He will have to set up some annoying counter pushes, and he does. 10 seconds remaining, and I think Mohamed Light, all he has to do is drop 1 more poison and the game will be officially wrapped. He drops Goblin Drill instead. Goblin gets 2 hits on the tower, and that's gonna be another very comfortable win from the Pharaoh. Mohamed Light getting a win right here. Let's see if he is 4-0 on the day. As I remember, Mohamed Light winning a game number 1 against Niuzi. Yes, Mohamed Light will be 4-0 on the day, pretty much always guaranteeing his advancement to the next day. I feel like 5 wins are already enough to make sure that you are guaranteed to go to the next day, but obviously it's gonna also come down what other guys in the group will be doing. So Mohamed Light with a very good score, 4-0, Tanjiro as well, getting a win against Cult Sub, so unfortunately Sub not being able to make it against Tanjiro. EGW also with 4-0 score, excellent showing from the Englishman against John 77. It is not Ian 77, it is John 77, completely different pro player. And Rafael Nadal also dominating his group, getting win against Retired, getting win against ASAP, getting win against Ijihu 2-1, and now beating Mortar. So right now I think Rafael Nadal can actually run away with that. From difficult players from Group H, I believe. Let me check Group H. Yes, it is a guy from Group H. I think from difficult matchup he only has to play against Celestia Vow and Riley, and then he's fine. Yeah, we're gonna focus on Group H a bit right now, because it looks like there's one player that is just running away with that. Celestia Vow also getting a win in his matchup. Let's check what it was in... Yeah, Celestia Vow getting win against Ijihu, and that's actually very unexpected. Ijihu did not show up for the game, so looks like Ijihu will be just forfeiting this tournament for no reason. Let me check the situation in the group once again. Yeah, Ijihu right now 4-0, so I believe what happened is that Ijihu... Yes, I think that's exactly what happened. He lost to Riley game 1, then he lost to Mortar, then he lost to a leader of the group, and then after experiencing 3 losses, he decided he doesn't have any more chance to advance, so he just left the tournament. So yeah, right now technically Ijihu will be a free win for everyone that will still play him, and from what I see, he's gonna be giving a free win to Retired in the following round. So that's gonna be definitely interesting to see. Okay, like we've said, we can watch Riley in the game number 3 against Retired. Winner of the set will be having 3 wins and 1 loss. Loser obviously will jump down and will be in a way out of the contention for being the leader of this group. So very important match for both of these guys. We'll see how they're gonna fare. Riley versus Retired, game number 3. Retired already ready with his deck. Riley still trying to make sure that he's not repeating any cards and that he covered every single matchup. We'll see if this additional weight will pay off for him. And there we go, the boys are already in the game. Let's hop to it as well. Here we go, game number 3, Riley versus Retired. Riley opting to go for the mortar bait, and it looks like Retired also playing mortar first play, so we're gonna be seeing some kind of a mortar bait matchup in game number 3. Riley opting to play the Skeleton Dragons. It's a modern variation of the mortar bait with the evolved minion horde from Retired, and Riley playing the Skeleton King, so most... Oh no, it's Retired with the Skeleton King. So Retired probably will be going for more of a baity strategy where you play for the Skeleton King's ability, and Riley probably going just pure bait, trying to get some kind of a value out of his rascals, out of the Skeleton Dragons, more of a like fireball bait. And right now that's a huge play from Retired, getting a fireball against the Mother Witch potential, and getting Mother Witch on his own, trying to snipe the some kind of bait play Retired, with a definitely very good matchup against Riley in this game number 3. However, these Skeleton Dragons will prove to be an issue for Retired. Skeleton King will be just enough to pick them off. Riley, I would say, up 3 or 4 elixir. We'll see how Riley will try to exploit this elixir advantage. He gets an Evo Minion Horde, and Retired has to drop a fireball. If he doesn't, this Minion Horde will kill the Mother Witch. It does, and Skeleton Dragons will have to be played to respond to this Evo Horde. So far so good. I would say Riley in a very pleasant position. Right now he's gonna take a lot of damage, but these rascals on the counter attack will prove to be a huge nuisance. And Retired just opts to not play around with it. He sets up for Evo Mortar because he knows that right now he has to defend in this position. And he plays the Skeleton Barrel on defense. I would say Retired definitely with a excellent matchup choice. Mother Witch will be very annoying to get rid of for Riley, as he will have to play miners on the Mother Witch. He doesn't have any other choice. And aside from that, the Skeleton King also will be very difficult to control. Retired right now with the very well played Mother Witch, unfortunately locking on the Rascal Boys, so that's gonna be a huge blow. And Riley completely in the driver's seat, as Mother Witch did not get any value at all. Minion Horde at the bridge will be picked off instantly, and right now this mortar will be on the tower, so Retired has to respond very quickly, and he does. Mortar getting only 1 hit, and Retired with a 500 damage lead going to the regulation time. Evo Mortar right now from Riley, instantly playing a pressure game, protecting the rascals with the... protecting Mortar with the rascals as well. And right now this Minion Horde will be just up for the taking, yes? Riley playing arrows instantly to pick off the Minion Horde, and Retired once again forced to play a very awkward defense. The Evo Mortar won't get any hits on the tower, and Mother Witch will be just playing a generational defense, not allowing any damage to come through, and Retired is back in the driving seat. He plays the Skeleton Barrel to potentially pressure. There won't be no Skeleton King's ability. I would expect it to come down, but apparently he's waiting, he's saving elixir for the other day to come. I think right now Retired once again, after this fireball, he has to play the defensive mortar, but he opts to eat the mortar shot from Riley. Make it 2 even, Skeleton King in kind, trying to get on top of the mortar, and right now we see that Riley understands the matchup. He needs to play the miners against the Mother Witches, as that's the only way of defending that. Players trading damage, and so far I would say it's getting awkwardly even between Retired and Riley. Skeleton King to absorb the mortar shot, and once again we see the miner and arrows to pick off the Mother Witch, as if this Mother Witch won't be removed, Retired will be getting a lot of advantage. Evo Minion Hordes are duking it out in the middle of the board, and instantly Skeleton King will be there to protect the Mother Witch. And right now just Retired plays every single card to protect the Mother Witch, giving up the insane arrow value for the Riley. 10 seconds left, Retired gets a fireball down, and Riley has to get a miner on the board, or he's gonna lose this game. Miner goes in the spot, and Retired doesn't protect. Riley gets a game number 3. Insanely close matchup, and Riley gets it down in 3. I think I have to learn how to play the mortar baits myself, because the modern version of the mortar bait, especially with minion horde, plays completely differently than mortar bait cycle that I've been maining on ladder. I've been playing this type of mortar bait on ladder as it's pretty much very similar to the cycle decks like 2.6 or minor control, but this new mortar bait with minion horde plays like an insane bait that kinda plays on the baiting out spells and cards. So definitely a different way of playing, and I think for a competitive purpose I have to learn how to play this bait myself. Let's see what matches are left, and there's only one match, so we're gonna be spectating that. Not even. Yep. All the matches have ended, so apparently Riley and Retired were the last ones to finish their games. And that's gonna settle things for the group, for the all groups for that reason. And we're gonna take a quick look at the rankings. EGW and Tanjiro dominating their group with 4-0 score. Pedro and Sub struggling in this event, definitely a favorites of this group. Both from Brazil, not making an impressive run this week. They will need a miracle to basically advance. Sandbox and Rakan are the leaders of the group B. Also, I would say very unexpected from Rakan to be here. We expected Sandbox to be one of the leaders, but Guriko with a very poor tournament, having 1 and 3 on the day. Group C, we can see a big tie on the first place between Bedfast, Adriel and Colin. I wouldn't say this score is that surprising. I expected Adriel and Rainbow to advance, but Bedfast showing that he actually can play competitive. Group D, Ruben and Molejas being the leaders of this group. Ruben qualifying just barely yesterday with 7 and 2 score, and El Molejas was having a absolutely beautiful run with 8 and 1. So one of the favorites of this group actually makes it through. Lucas definitely struggling, Titan still 2 and 2, and I would say there's actually a huge tie for 2 and 2, so like if El Molejas or Ruben like lose a game, this group is definitely open. Nothing has been decided here. In Group E, we have a similar situation where OP Sam and Vitor have 3 and 1. But any guys with just 1 game win can pretty much catch up. Group F, Samuel, Basoto, there are like 4 players at 3 and 1. Basoto, Ta, Sinistro and Turan. And only Maya is pretty much out of this group, like for sure. Actually, I would say Batan is only in play, because Soxy and a Russian guy also have a problematic position. Group G, Mohamed Light with 4-0. There's no surprises here. We expect Mohamed Light to advance, but Ian actually struggling, having 2 and 2 score on the day. I expected that Mohamed Light and Ian will win this group, and right now it is Niuzi and a Korean guy, Wow, leading the group after the Mohamed Light. And in Group H, it's Rafael Nadal with a very surprising performance. And then a huge tie between Celestia Vow and Riley to potentially get a 2nd place. So yeah, we're gonna be watching obviously Polish players. Let's see what matchups they got. Infril will be facing Surgical Goblin. I definitely want to watch that. And Titan will be taking on the Sand Balakin, so that's gonna be a close second. From the other games, I don't see any. Actually, Bedfast Adriel will be very interesting, but I don't think we're gonna be watching that. Mohamed Light will be playing against Vo. Ian playing against Furkan, that's also interesting. Riley will be taking on the leader of the group, Rafael Nadal. Retired will be playing against Asaf, another interesting. Ijihu obviously will be giving the free win, unfortunately. EGW will be playing against Pedro, and Sub will be taking on Droy in this group. And the Group E also very competitive. I think the most interesting matchup will be Vitor against Coco, but I just want to watch this matchup between Intrill and Surgical Goblin, and here we go. Surgical Goblin, obviously very well known Dutch content creator, and Infil, I would say one of the best competitive Polish players, second only to Titan, who is known from playing ladder and playing Expo like a lot. And Infil already in trouble in this game number 1, Surgical Goblin getting an excellent pick, RG Psycho against the Mega Knight Ram Rider Spirit Empress. I've been maining RG on ladder, so I know this matchup is god awful for the MK, if you know what you're doing. Yep, this Spirit Empress will struggle to get on the tower, courtesy of the Hunter and Skeletons very well played, and Fisherman very well timed to pull the Mega Knight and activate the King Tower. Excellent defense from Surgical Goblin, giving up a lot of damage, but surviving the potentially dangerous onslaught. And right now Ram Rider will try to make it to the tower. The E-Spirit is there to reset, and that's gonna be a no damage Ram Rider, beautifully played Lumberjack. Royal Giant comes down on the opposite lane, trying to catch the Infil with hands down, and he does. Very well timed Barbarian Barrel. Infil will get an Evo Ghost on the counter push, but the tower goes down, and right now all the pressure is on the Polish pro player. Here Goblins use the ability, I don't agree with that ability, and Evo Ghost will be easily taken care of. Infil right now has to do some Infil magic to come back to this game. Hunter being cycled in the back, and Ram Rider comes in kind. Mega Knight will obviously cross the bridge and create some problems, but I don't think it's gonna be too much. Mega Knight tries to cheese, and Ram Rider will be in on the tower, make it one hit, but it's not enough. Infil need way more from this attack, and unfortunately it's not gonna be enough. Evo RG comes down in the pocket, will make it 2, will make it 3, maybe even 4 hits, just distracting the Surgical Goblin from attacking. Ram Rider will actually not make it to the tower. Beautifully played Fireball from Surgical, and he's gonna be taking the game number 1 in here. Unfortunate. And in Group D, let's check how the Titan is faring against Sun Pelican. That's another matchup that I'm very interested in. And Sun Pelican will be taking game number 1. I believe it was Lava Hound versus Hoggy Q. I may be wrong, let me check the exact matchup. Battles 2 and 2. Titan. Yep, he played against Sun Pelican, and he was playing Drill Poison, like Drill Poison with Mighty Miner against Sun Pelican's Lava. I would say this matchup is, if Titan plays perfectly, he will be having the matchup, but it also takes only one mistake and Sun Pelican wins. So there had to have, like, something had to happen that Titan pretty much lost this, because this deck had such a solid defenses. Very unfortunate. So Titan will be dropping a game, and let's see if different games are still in play. Let's just spectate Mohamed Light for now. And Mohamed Light is tanking on the WoW, the Korean player. Mohamed Light obviously not in the best spot, as he's playing the Pig's Lightning against the Goblinstein Splash Yard. Goblinstein Splash Yard being very aggressive deck, where your main goal is pretty much to set up as many graveyard attacks as possible and then bail yourself out with very solid defenses that this deck is proud of having. Mohamed Light getting Skeleton Dragons against Goblin Cage, very well played, setting up the potential pigs and the defensive poison from WoW. Very good play, preventing almost every damage from coming. Mohamed Light is setting up the Dark Prince, already expecting the graveyard, and here it comes. He plays the counter pushing pigs, which is like the best play you could do in this position, and E-Spirit to clean up the side skeletons. There's no Barbarian Barrel to clean up the bottom skeleton, but he doesn't need that. Mohamed Light with a clinic defense in the triple elixir, securing the win with Last Lightning and counter pushing pigs, pushing this to a 1-0 lead for himself in this opening match against WoW. That was game 1. I don't think we have... Actually, we have a lot of games to go in. Let's watch Pedro against EGW it apparently ended, so we won't be watching that. See what... Okay, let's watch Group C. Group C, Bedfast and Andriel is still ongoing, so we're gonna watch that. And Adriel with a huge damage from the Hog, getting a lot of damage. And I actually am very surprised, because Adriel is playing Hog Cycle against this Balloon Giant Skeleton deck. I always thought that the Balloon Giant Skeleton deck had a matchup, but Adriel just makes it look easy. He gets a Lightning, he gets a Hog to hit a tower once, and right now he's just one Lightning away from stealing the set. He has to be careful against this Balloon, obviously, but it just looks so easy. Adriel taking the game number 1 against Bedfast. Beautiful stuff. Let's donate some Goblin Gangs, don't mind if I do. And let's watch also Retired versus Asaph. I think they still have a couple of seconds of play. And they do. Retired with 85 HP on the King Tower. I don't know what happened in this matchup, but Asaph will be taking the game number 1. And those are all the matchups in the set 5 game number 1. We're gonna be waiting 2 more minutes for start of the game number 2. So far, I believe Titan lost his game number 1. Correct me if I'm wrong, he lost game number 1 against San Belican. And Infril lost the game number 1 against Surgical Goblin with this RG versus Mega Knight Ram Rider deck. I would say definitely RG has the advantage, and Surgical just proved that to be the case. Not a good start for a Polish players in this set 5. Definitely looking forward to bounce back and get a comeback 2-1 wins after that. Just wait 2 more minutes. I'm gonna take a ever so slightly short break and pretty much refill my water supply. I'm gonna be back in about 1 minute. Alright, we're back. Kinda took way longer than I expected. But we're back. Let's watch the Infril vs Surgical Goblin and let's see if Infril can bounce back. Also, hello Terra. I'm down. I'm down for later VC, but let's for now Watch the CRL. Infrel starting off with Lumberjack and Zappis, most likely bringing a Giant Skeleton plus Battle Ram, and Surgical Goblin most likely opting to play the Magic Archer Pigs deck. Very popular decks from both players, and I hope no surprises here. Surgical Goblin with a beautiful lightning predicting Infrel will try to grid out the defense and gets a lot of damage for his effort early on in the game. 1917 on Infrel's tower, and already a huge pressure on Polish Phenom to bounce back. Battle Ram to Kite, and Goblin Hat in kind. Force out to be played early, won't get way more value, and Infrel definitely happy to see the Goblin Hat all together, as it's gonna be a weak building against a Mother Witch in later Elixir controls. Giant Skeleton comes down at the bridge, trying to set up a push with Giant Skeleton and Lumberjack. Let's see how Surgical Goblin decides to defend that. Plays the Berserker to distract, and Mother Witch instantly at the bridge. Very smart choice from Infrel, trying to get some kind of pigs. And right now, so far, not being successful at that. Getting 0 pigs from his Mother Witch, very unfortunate play from Infrel. Spending 4 elixir and getting no value. 1917 still on Infrel's tower, and definitely Surgical Goblin running away with this defense, as this could have been very scary for the Polish player. Pigs come down, Barbaro has to come down on defense, and 1399, 1400 damage -1 for Infrel on his right side. Definitely not the best spot to be at, and Surgical Goblin still pulling off these ever so important defenses. We'll see if Infrel can bounce back. He plays the Giant Skeleton in the corner, Lumberjack setting up a huge counter push, and he's gonna take a lot of damage from these pigs. Infrel definitely expecting the ability to come down, and it does. Giant Skeleton tanking for the Evo Battle Ram, and let's see if the Evo Lumberjack can do some magic against this Goblin Hat. Evo Battle Ram will connect once, will connect twice, and Giant Skeleton Bomb most likely on the tower will blow up, and Infrel with a beautiful comeback takes game number 2 against Surgical Goblin, tying the set 1-1. Beautiful stuff from Infrel. Let's spectate Titan really quickly, as he's gonna try to bounce back against Sand Pelican in game 2, and he does. Titan going for a cheese deck with Mega Knight, Hog Rider and Prince against Sand Pelican's Golem Beatdown. Very good pick from Titan. If you want to play against Golem Beatdown, you have to have 2 things. You have to have a pressure tools, which he does in Hog Rider and Prince, and he has to have tank killers, and he has them as well in Evo Mega Knight, which is one of the best tank killers in the game, and Inferno Dragon, which I don't have to even elaborate on. Prince will be caught by the Goblin Cage. That's a well-known interaction. Prince won't be able to connect. The Goblin Cage will grab the Prince first. So Titan sets up the Inferno Dragon, basically doesn't want to get cheesed in double elixir, and he has the Mega Knight evolution as well, basically making sure that nothing happens in this game, as he secured the win in the single elixir. Mini P.E.K.K.A as well. I don't think Titan is losing that. He has all the response against Golem. This matchup is pretty much wrapped up, unless there's some way that Sand Pelican will try to bring it down. Evo Inferno Dragon also in play, minions to cover for the Night Witch. This just looks like a wrap, and Titan gets a beautiful snipe against Golem in this game number 2. He will try to send this game to the game number 3. Beautiful to see, and very tragic for Sand Pelican, as there's literally nothing he can do in this matchup. Let's see another matchups. In Group A, we're gonna be watching probably EGW versus Pedro. I just want to see if EGW continues to have his golden run against one of the best players in the game. And EGW with a very weird RG deck with Bowler and Executioner, trying to cover a lot of weird matchups. Pedro getting pigs. Will it be on time? Fireball comes down and he's making it. Pedro barely beating EGW. and getting ever so important win for him, as Pedro definitely still in the running to win the group. Not win the group, but like definitely in the running for competing for the advancement. If EGW drops set right now, he's gonna be vulnerable and maybe Pedro will overtake him later on, so Pedro needs every single win that he gets. Droy is still playing sub. Retired is playing Asaf, let's check this match. Asaf bringing the log bait, he's known for playing bait and drill, so definitely makes sense. And Retired bringing a bridge spam, not even with a tank, he's just playing with a Golden Knight, Lumberjack, and newly buffed Skeleton Dragons that definitely help against this type of bait. Skeleton Dragons will be the most annoying card for Asaf, as his only air defense that is reliable enough are Spear Goblins. And right now 2 Goblin Demolishers, that's gonna be a very stressful defense for Retired, if not for the fact he has the Golden Knight. And Asaf just putting any pressure that he can, getting a lot of damage on both sides actually, 10-0-90 and 14-on-1 on both sides. Right now Asaf in a slight lead, but Retired tries to cheese against the Tesla. Will he get a bat ram to the tower? He will most likely get a pig to the tower, and he does. 1029 versus 1049, Retired getting it done by just 15 HP. Beautiful sight to see. Or maybe I messed up the maths. Yeah, it's 20 HP. Basically, Asaf was 1 log away from winning that, and Retired gets a very clutch win against Asaf. Beautiful to see. In Group G, let's see the Ian versus Furkan. They ended up their matchup, so we won't be able to spectate them. Maybe. Yeah, they ended their matchup, and Clown and Adnan ended as well. So all the matches from the set 5 game 2 have ended. Let's look at the standings for now. We see that EGW actually lost to Pedro, so Pedro will move up a spot and put himself in a contention for potentially advancing. Sub, definitely with a difficult tournament, I think he's mathematically eliminated already. And Tanjiro with EGW definitely dominating these groups. Even though EGW loses, he still is in a very strong contention for the spot number 2. In Group B, Sandbox, I believe he takes a win. Let me see against who. The Sandbox takes a win against Kiefer Hubi. In Group C, Adriel definitely dominating the group. I think he also took a win right here, and he took a win against Bedfast, so very important win for Adriel, as Bedfast was tied up with him for the leadership of the group. In Group D, I believe, yeah, there's only one game 3, so a lot of matchups have been solved in here. Ruben dropping a set. El Molejas continuing his golden run. Very interesting to see, as this player had also 8-1 run yesterday. Rin definitely doing a great comeback to this tournament. I remember that he started off with 2 losses, so let's check his position right now. Rin, there it is. Yeah, he started off with 2 losses against Eric and Sam Belekin, and right now taking a win against El Molejas, Lucas, and Ruben. So beautiful road from Rin. Group E, that's a very competitive one. We have OP Sam. I believe he won a set right now. Vitor will still be playing. Morten dropped a set, if I had to guess. SK Morten... No, Morten also won his set. Either I'm blind or... Oh, Morten is 3-2. Yeah. Morten won his set, okay, so that's that. OP Sam won his set against Nubi as well. And this group also slightly running away is OP Sam. Very unexpected. I expected from this group for Morten and Vitor to advance, but OP Sam just solidifies his position as the group leader, and I don't think there's any catching him. Infill against Surgical Goblin will be definitely the matchup that we'll be spectating right now. In Group G, Mohamed Light obviously 5-0. This guy is an absolute beast and he proves this over and over again. Ian77 doing a slight comeback in the tournament. I remember that he started off very slowly, but right now he's 3-2, definitely in the contention of advancing. Yep, he started off with 2 losses, brutal, but then he got 3 wins in a row against Zufi, Trainer Adnan, and now against Turkish content creator Furkan. Let's jump to the Group B and see the Surgical Goblin versus Infrill. Game number 3. And here we go, Infrill going for pigs, and 3 Musketeers, very unexpected pick. Surgical Goblin with Dark Prince, definitely a good pick against Royal Hogs. And Mother Witch to potentially snipe bait, as Infrill is very well known to play bait in game number 3. Infrill will opt to play Brick Spam instead, and Surgical Goblin looks like he's gonna be bringing some kind of a Mortar bait in game number 3. I think Skeleton Dragons, Mother Witch, Arrows and Dark Prince, very interesting pick in Mortar bait from Surge. Usually you see the Skeleton King in this type of decks, but he's not. He's bringing a Hog Rider, and Infrill bringing a Goblin Cage as a potential counter to a Hog type of deck, so very good pick from a Polish player to make sure that he actually can defend Hog Riders in this very important game number 3. Surgical Goblin will be running a Hog Mega Knight type of deck. Definitely not expected, as it's not the type of deck we often see on ladder. But in competitive, if you can narrow down your opponent's choices and figure out that MK Hog will be actually a good option, you should be running that, especially if you're facing Intro and you know that he likes to run bait. Maybe MK Hog with Mother Witch is the response. Intro though, surprising us all once again, and running some kind of pigs 3 Musketeers with Rascals and Goblin Cage as the surprise factor against a building targeting win conditions, so definitely not the worst matchup for Infrill as well. And that's gonna be pretty much the story of the game. Bandit will be able to fully counter the Dark Prince with the help of 3 Musketeers. Mother Witch will go down, but not before cursing this Bandit and turning it into a Hog. Most likely Bandit will come down on the 2 Musketeers, and Infrill instantly preparing something to defend with. Rascal Boy to pressure on the right side, and Goblin Cage to pick off the entire fully healthy evolved Mega Knight. That's a +3 trade for a Polish player. Beautiful to see. Arrows come down against Hogs and Dark Prince to finish it off. Still 1051 remaining on Surgical Goblin's tower. Beautiful send from a Polish player. And right now, the same brawler that took down the entire Mega Knight will support the Magic Archer in tanking the Mother Witch and pretty much making this game as annoying as is physically possible. Infrill right now ready with another Goblin Cage against Hog Rider, making it get only 1 hit. Dark Prince will come down to take off the Rascal Girls, very good spend, and right now Goblin Brawler will be on the tower. That's game. Infrill will be taking the game number 3 against Surgical Goblin. Beautiful win for a Polish player. Let's see if in Group D we still have time to watch Sandbelly against Titan, and we do. So let's hop to this game really quickly. Oh, actually we don't. The game just ended. Let's see the result of that. I just hope the Titan took the game here as well. 3-2. And we have the Titan at 3-2. He took the Sandbelly in game number 3. Game number 1, obviously he lost to Lava with a Drill, Poison. Then game number 2, 100-0 matchup against the Golden Beatdown. And game number 3, it was a Giant Skeleton Battle Run Bridge Spam with the Mother Witch against the Graveyard. So Sandbelly once again getting out matchupped back to back against Titan. Beautiful things to see. Titan will be moving to 3-2, and I believe in a firm contention for the advancement in Group D. And he is. There's a huge tie on the spot number 2 between Titan, Ruben and Rin. So Titan definitely still in the contention of advancing. And in the Group B, Infrill will be in close third, in the group, while Sandbox and Rakan will be the definite leaders of this group. So I don't know if Intreal technically has chances if Rakan and Sandbox win all their games. I think he does, because I don't think Intreal played against Rakan, so he can potentially win against Rakan and then make his run into a second place of the Group B. As the Surgical Goblin, I believe, will be in a very difficult spot, having a 2 and 3 kind of performance. In Group A, Tanjiro still 4-0, and he's actually still playing, so let's put this match on the big screen. And they have the sudden death overtime, Tanjiro running a Lava Empress Baby Dragon type of deck, and Madison Beer with a beautiful matchup. Like I've said before, usually Hog Lightning will be having a very comfortable matchup against a Lava without a balloon, as you pretty much can kite these Lava Pups and these Goblins and all the support troops forever with your Berserker, in this case not Skeletons, Berserker with your Mighty Miner, and buy yourself like infinite amount of time. This bomb on the Empress is very important, because right now, if Madison Beer decides to lightning the Empress, it's gonna die. And here comes the lightning, both Empress and Baby Dragon die. Furnace is there to pick off the Lava Hound and make sure that these Lava Pups won't deal too much damage. They will get some chips, but right now, Madison Beer once again has the tempo advantage, and he's gonna play Mighty Miner to tank for the Furnace. That's exactly what he's gonna do. He's gonna play Hog Rider same lane and probably log to... No, Lightning. Lightning will be played to potentially take down the Spirit Empress. I actually like this position even more than logging the Tombstone, and the Furnace is still being protected, so Madison just playing on the momentum has to play the defensive Tombstone and waste the Evo Baby Dragon. That's just a very good position for Madison Beer. And another Furnace will be played. Both players tank their glass cannons, in Mighty Miner tanking for the Spirit Empress, and Lava Hound as the entire win condition tanking for the... But right now Empress actually survives this push, and 471 only remaining on the Madison's tower. This tower is one fireball and zap away, and Tanjiro just takes the game number 2. Beautiful win from Tanjiro, playing against a very difficult matchup. Nothing in the clan. Let's see if we have any other games to spectate from different groups. And that was the last game of this, I believe it was round number 3, yeah. No, it was set number 5, game number 3. So right now we can actually look at the standings. Tanjiro with 5-0, he has the excellent tournament this week, and EGW in close second. Pedro still in the contention with John 77. We'll see if one of these guys will make an upset. So far, Tanjiro and EGW have been running away with this tournament. Absolutely monstrous performances. Group B, Sandbox and Rakan in a definite lead. But Intreal still has a head-to-head against Rakan, so if he wins against Rakan, he will potentially make an upset and get a tight score with Rakan, and with having a head-to-head win, he will advance instead of Rakan, so that's the thing that we have to look at. Group C, Adriel in clear first, and a huge tie, like 4 players with 3 and 2 score, competing for the second spot with Bedfast, Colin, Evolved, and Michael Oliseh. Group D, also not decided, El Molejas with 4 and 1 score, definitely dominant one, and then 3 players in Titan, Ruben, and Rin, fighting for this number 2 spot. Group E, OP Sam and Vitor with 4 and 1, so they're starting to run away with that, with Crobat and SK Morten in close. 3rd and 4th will try to catch up to the leaders of the group. Group F. So far, Ta. Actually, there's a huge tie for the first place with Ta, Samuel Basato, and Turan with 4 and 1 score. They've been the leaders of this group and pretty much feasting on the other players. I can imagine this group will come down to a wire. Group G. Mohamed Light running away with that. Wu, the Korean player, in close second. And in a catch-up group, we'll be having... No, it's not Wu. Wu is in 3-2 score. Niusi, the Italian player, will be number 2, right behind the Mohamed Light. And 3 players in Clown, Ian77 and Wu will be in a catch-up group. We'll see if they can make it. And in Group H, actually, Riley will be tied with Rafael Nadal for the first 2 spots, and only 2 players that will be able to catch them in Celestia Vau and Nikoko with 3 and 2 score, trying to make an upset on this group. We'll see how things will fare, and for now, just focus on the matches on hand. Infril will be playing against Rakan. That's the matchup I've been talking about. If Infril wins that and then wins his next matchup, he will be able to advance in the Group B. So very important matchup for Infril right now. And Titan will be facing off against Rin, who I believe he's tied with on points. Let's check the Group D. Yes, Ruben, Titan, and Rin are tied with 3 and 2, so that's also a very big matchup for Titan. Whoever wins this will be 4 and 2 and make himself like very eligible to compete for the spot number 2 in this group. For now, let's watch the Infril versus Rakan, as I believe actually both of the Titans and Infril's matches are important, but if Infril loses here, he won't be able to win the group anymore. He needs win, and he needs it now. And for that to happen, he brings a hyper bait in game number 1. Beautiful stuff. Rakan, prepared for the hyper bait, brings the Zab, brings the Tornado, and he brings the Goblin Cage as the counter pushing mechanism. I believe Rakan will be playing the Giant Skeleton Miner Executioner Balloon deck, which is definitely not a bad pick against hyper bait, but I think it's still too expensive. Against hyper bait, you want to match it with something lighter. You maybe want to play the Miner Poison, maybe even Rocket Cycle, maybe Queen Pigs. I think that's too expensive, and if Infril decides to play fast, and hyper bait always plays fast, he will be having the advantage in this matchup. Right now though, Infril will be in a very precarious situation where he has to defend the Executioner and Balloon, Wall Breakers to tank, and Dark Goblin will have to min-max the damage. Definitely not a position Infril wanted to find himself in. 933 on his tower and already in dire straits against Rakan in game number 1. I still think Infril definitely can make this run, but it's not gonna be easy, as Rakan's deck will be very weak in single elixir, and it's gonna get only more vicious the later the game goes on. So taking all this damage in single elixir, definitely not a good sign for Infril. Setting up the Royal Ghost evolution on the same side as the Giant Skeleton. Personally, I don't agree with that play, but maybe he doesn't have a good way of stopping Giant Skeleton without sacrificing any other important cards. This balloon won't run away, it's gonna get kited by the bomb tower, and we expect the High Rascals to pick off the balloon. There's second bomb tower to kite that, and we have the goblins to pick off the Evo Executioner. Getting one splashy is Infril, and a huge counter push actually on the opposite line, 1041, so Infril still playing on the tempo. I think that's the correct and only play in this matchup for him to get back into the game. He tries to get a cheese with a log, trying to get a ghost to splash on the tower, but it's not working. Cycling Hero Goblins on the opposite side, and actually Executioner dies, so maybe there's a chance for Infril to make it happen. Goblin Barrel gets a lot of damage, Hero Goblins are on the tower, they pick up the Miner, and Balloon will be getting a lot of damage. Dark Goblin has to stop this Balloon from connecting with a death damage, and I don't think it's gonna be the case. Unfortunately, Rakan will be taking the game number 1. Let's quickly jump to the game of Titan, where he's gonna be taking on Rin. Like I said, also a very important match, as the winner of this match most likely will be having a huge chance to compete for the second place of the group as well. Titan running with a Pig's Lighting, very solid deck, especially in this meta, where you pretty much don't want to commit too much to your attack, you want to just play pigs and then see what your opponent plays. And if your opponent plays something heavy on defense, like for instance Dark Prince right here, you just lightning it and disable any chances of counterplay. Mad Kid? Wait, Mad Kid. That's Tourist, right? Why is Tourist playing this match? Wait, let me actually check that. What? Why is Tourist playing instead of Rin? Obviously, right now Titan is losing big time, but I'm just so surprised because, like, that's not the player we were expecting to play. Dark Prince and Snowball to pick off the Raw Hogs. Dark Prince barely not dying. That's gonna be a very unfortunate interaction for Titan, as he wanted these pigs to run away. Evo Drill comes down and it's gonna force out a very expensive response. Electro Spirit will be baited out. And Dark Prince right now has to pretty much single-handedly defend the drill. If he doesn't, it's gonna be a game over. Magic Archer connects on the tower though on the opposite side. Titan just one lighting away and he gets it in game number 1. Beautiful win from Titan, but still, I don't know why Titan is not playing, and I actually don't know what happened here. That's a very peculiar situation. Like, Mad Kid, if I recall correctly, was the Tourist account, and Tourist definitely got eliminated yesterday, so I don't know why he's playing instead of Rin. Maybe that was the case for the entire tournament, but just wasn't spectating that. Very interesting to see the Tourist play against Rin. Maybe there was some kind of a mishap and he just subbed the player, but I don't know if that's legal in the first place. Yeah, Tourist playing instead of Rin is very weird. I'll have to check the rulebook later on because I don't think that's legal. So Titan will be playing against Tourist. Very interesting to see. That being said, Titan is up 1 game and Infrel will have to figure something out to make a reverse sweep against Rakan. And in the meantime, let's watch some Mohamed Light. He's getting a matchup against Zufi, so not that interesting. We expect Mohamed Light to win that. Cannon comes down that Hunter will get 2 shots, and Mohamed Light misses up the timing on the fireball. Definitely not the best play on the Mohamed Light's end. He's right now losing with a Giant Skeleton Hog Rider type of deck. I see that he likes to play this deck in this tournament as he pretty much plays 2.6 Hog, but with Giant Skeleton to potentially counter beatdown decks. He's gonna get a lock against the Hunter to prevent this Hunter from doing fun things, and right now Giant Skeleton on top of the RG to potentially counter, and right now Hog Rider will try to run away. Zufi messes up the timing, so Hog will get 1 hit, and right now Mohamed Light, all he has to do is just cycle spells and play Giant Skeleton against every single RG, and he will win. Giant Skeleton is being played. Fireball will go down on the Musketeer. Hog Rider is gonna be a counter pushing measure and he gets 1 hit, and Mohamed Light, I think there's just no way that he throws this advantage. Evo defensive cannon played right here. He's gonna throw 1 more fireball just to make sure, and it doesn't land, but it doesn't even matter. Mohamed Light taking the game number 1 against Zufi. Interesting deck choice, but honestly I just like it as a very solid deck which you really cannot exploit. If your opponent is playing patiently and he recognizes what matchup demands, it's really very difficult to beat it. So Mohamed Light getting a win here, and I think we just ended a round with that. Yep. Since Titan has 1 game in the back, I think I'm gonna spectate Intril this time, going up against Rakan. As right now, if Intril loses, he's officially out of the tournament, and Titan definitely in a commanding lead against what I thought is gonna be Ren, but it appears to be Tourist instead. Very weird stuff. Like I've said, I'll have to check the rulebook after that, because I don't think Tourist was eligible to compete. Let's check rankings, and let's check where the Tourist even was. 65th was Bielvini CR. Yeah, that's not the guy we expected. Tourist. Yep, Tourist was 132nd. He shouldn't be playing. It's a very weird turn of events. We'll see if Infil can make a reverse sweep against Rakan and put himself in a contention of winning this group. Obviously, if he wins against Rakan, he still has to deliver on the last game. I believe his last game will be against Des, but I may be wrong. Let's check the battles of Infil. Infil, there we go. He played against Rakan, he played against Handbox, Surgical, he played against Das, he played against Caper Hubi. I don't think I'm gonna memorize this correctly. But he played against all the big guys from Group B, right? He haven't played against Guriko. Okay, so that's gonna be still a very difficult matchup. Wait, that's Group B, right? Yeah, it is Group B, yeah. Infil will have to play his last game against Guriko, so that's gonna be also very difficult. Unless Guriko gives up and gives him a free win. I don't think that's gonna be the case, but there's always a chance. And at the same time, Titan leading against Rin, who appears to be Tourist for whatever reason. That's just a very weird showing. And I prefer to know why is this a case at all in the first place. Okay, right now we're gonna be awaiting the round number 2 of the set number 6. Infil versus Rakan. I think that's the very ever important match for Infil, and he's already locked in, confident with his deck. Just love to see it. Also, if you want to see any other player, if you want me to cast like different match, you can drop it in the chat. I'm willing to switch, but just for the stream's sake, I have to have at least 1 or 2 players that I'm dictating that I'm gonna be watching, just to kind of build some narrative, and Infil and Titan will be my players of choice, as they are pro players from Poland, and I just want some Polish pro players to be in the CRL monthly finals. That being said, Infil will bring a Furnace and Fireball, being aggressive early on against what it appears to be either Giant Skeleton Battle Ram from Rakan or the RG. There has been RG with Hero Wizard being played, mostly to snipe the Lava Hound, and it's gonna be the Giant Skeleton Battle Ram deck, very popular on ladder. It's been run with variety types of cards. Oh, it's not gonna be Giant Skeleton, it's gonna be Mega Knight. So, an interesting switch from Rakan. He's gonna opt to play Evo Mega Knight to potentially snipe the RG, but Infil is not going for the RG himself. He's gonna be going for the Giant Skeleton Battle Ram. So we'll be having a mirror matchup, except Rakan brings the Hero Wizard and Mega Knight to potentially snipe some kind of lava play. I don't think the lava is a concern for this deck, but I still like the MK pick. Just in case something happens, you have this Mega Knight to take a win condition of your tower. And right now, beautiful kite from Rakan to kite the Lumberjack away from the action. I think Infil will just take the charge here and opt to play for a counter push, and he does. 1978 on Infil's tower, and Dark Prince, perfectly healthy, will be charging in against the Zappies. Zappies will be fully countering the Dark Prince. Very well played by Rakan. And Infil, I think he's gonna just opt to play a Giant Skeleton. No, he's gonna be playing Furnace first. Battle Ram cycled on the right side as well, cycling to the evolution. I don't like this play, but it may have been necessary seeing the Infil's hand. Hero Wizard playing in the back. Barbaro definitely cycled to bring him to the better cards, and right now we'll get full on value against the Zappies. Hero Wizard getting value against this Lumberjack, and Dark Prince will come in kind to pick it off. Right now, both players have the evolved Battle Ram in cycle, so they have to be both careful about how they plan out their next defense, and I think the card that you want to hold is the Zappies, as the Zappies pretty much counter the big tank, they counter the battle ram. It's pretty much the most important card in this matchup, now that I look at it, as Rakan has the reset in Vines, but Intro does not have any reset. Intro will have to be super careful while defending that, as it's Hero Wizard, Mega Knight and Evo Battle Ram behind, and actually Mega Knight jumps on the Zappies. That's a tragic situation for Intro, as unfortunately he's gonna be out of the tournament, losing to Rakan. The Mega Knight just did not jump on the Giant Skeleton in a tragic turn of event, and Intro will be out of the tournament. That's so sad to see, as even if he wins the next game and Rakan loses, they will be tied on points, but Infrel will be losing tiebreaker head-to-head against Rakan. Right now it's physically impossible for him to advance anymore, so let's just jump to the Titan and hope that he's gonna make it all the way. Okay, the game resetted for no reason. Let's check how Titan is faring against his adversary. He's apparently not in the play. Let me check if that's the case. Group D, and he's not in the play. Apparently the round just ended, so Titan also ended his game. And let's see if he's in the contention. Did he win? Titan. He's 3-2, so he lost the game number 2 against what it appears to be Mad Kid in Tourist, in a Hog EQ versus RG Monk. Yeah, very depressing matchup to play. I would say you can win this matchup with eyes closed as an RG player, and yeah, just Rin, who appears to be playing on different account for whatever reason, just getting a game number 2 win. And right now Titan will have to still bring his best play in game number 3. So looking at the matchups, at least Titan wasted EQ and Lightning in game number 1 and 2, and Rin wasted Fireball and Poison, so most likely Rin will be playing either no big spell or Lightning game number 3, so Titan cannot be playing Archer Queen, cannot be playing anything that gives the Lightning value, and by knowing that, Rin can pretty much exploit that and play something that Archer Queen counters. So for instance, I don't think Titan is allowed to play RG at all. I think Titan has to come up with something that Lightning will not cover, like for instance, he may try to play some kind of a Hyper Bait. I don't think X-Bow is a play. Yeah, there's not that many options. You would love to play Pigs against Lightning, but Pigs are already out for Titan, and right? Maybe Goblin Joe. I think that Goblin Joe is not a bad pick for Titan, but he wasted a lot of cycle cards, so maybe not the most obvious choice. Titan still has both Fireball and Poison available, so maybe actually Graveyard. Graveyard against Lightning seems like a very good play. And for as long as Rin can pick the Mother Witch as in game 3 to play Lightning Mother Witch, maybe even Giant Skeleton Battle Ram. That would be my prediction. Yeah, very difficult stuff for Titan. He'll have to come up with something to basically win the last game. And this game is just bugged. Pedro versus Sub. They are not playing the game, I think. Yep, we jump into the game. Okay, so they were playing. So apparently the website just got bugged, and Pedro takes the game of his countryman in Sub. Let's see if he took a set as well. Battles. Pedro. And he's 4-2. He took a Sub with 2-0 battle. And right now Pedro is getting closer and closer in actually advancing in Group A. Right now he's not tied. Wait, is Pedro? No, Pedro had the head-to-head against EGW. So right now, if EGW wins, Pedro is officially eliminated. Tanjiro, I think, makes it to the... Actually, I don't know what Tanjiro's situation is. Let's check the Tanjiro. There he is. Oh, he's playing against John 77, so Tanjiro still can bottle it up. Yep. Yeah, that's a very complicated group. I think if Tanjiro wins, it's gonna be almost impossible for Pedro to advance because EGW would have to lose. And looking at the EGW, he has already played against Sub, he played against Pedro. Oh! EGW and Tanjiro will have head-to-head, so if EGW wins against Tanjiro, I believe EGW will secure the #1 spot in the group. But if Tanjiro wins, then potentially Pedro has the chance to advance. Yeah, that's gonna be a complicated group to calculate, and for now, we'll see if Tanjiro even wins his matchup. If Tanjiro wins his matchup, I think Pedro will have to count on EGW to win, because if Tanjiro wins, then Pedro can advance. If EGW wins, the Pedro cannot catch up on points. That's gonna be a very competitive group at this point. And obviously in group number 3, we still have Titan versus Rin. We're gonna be paying a close attention to that matchup. Lucas, not with a very good tournament, will be playing against Ruben, and Ruben is a direct competitor to Titan, so we're cheering for Lucas, I guess. And El Mole has still been a strong leader to a group B. I mean group D. Yep, we'll be playing against I actually forgot. He's gonna be playing against Eric, coach, with 2 and 3. Eric with a very good start in this tournament. Right now, he kinda lost 3 in a row, if I recall correctly. Eric. Yep, he started off by beating Rin and Lucas, and then he pretty much lost 3 games in a row, and right now in a battle with a leader, so I think Eric is mathematically eliminated. Definitely a good start to the tournament, but he didn't deliver, and that's what is difficult about this tournament. Even if you have a good start, you have to deliver at the end, because people will try to prey on you and try to get a quick win and pretty much steal the tournament from you at the last second. And that's what's happening in Group D. If Titan wins against Rin, he'll be very close to securing himself a number 2 spot, as he's gonna be only 1 game away from winning, from getting 2nd place in the group. And Titan will be again play against Mad Kid, who I believe is tourist, and I have no idea why. I'm gonna call it Rin, just in case I'm wrong. I'm gonna give him benefit of a doubt. Titan running a Lava Hound against a Logbait, which has the Archer Queen as well, so definitely a bad matchup for Titan, as this matchup is already bad, even if you have the Dark Goblin instead of the Archer Queen. Let's see if Titan has the Lightning. If he does, it's gonna be a very pleasant matchup, but he has Fireball. And right now Titan will be in a very bad position against that. He has to play arrows on defense. Oh, he has Zap to defend the Goblin Barrel. Very bad matchup for Titan, and I think Ren has done it. Obviously anything can happen, but it's just not looking good for our Polish player. Last card most likely is gonna be a building. I would expect either Tesla or Inferno Tower, but if it's Cannon, it's still doable. Archer Queen, also something you have to pay attention to, and Titan reveals his last card in being Hero Megamian, so he's playing the most meta lava possible, trying to just go with something comfortable, trying to get a good matchup. The matchup is definitely not there, but with Hero Megamian you can outplay so many cards, and if he gets the Hero Megamian and Fireball on the Archer Queen, maybe, just maybe, he can break through. He sets up the Lava Hound on the weak side, gets a Zap, so next Zap will be evolved. The Evolve Zap will be very important to breaking through the Princess. And even you can play the Evolve Zap plus Fireball to kill the Archer Queen. Empress has been taken out. Titan plays an early ability on the Archer Queen to potentially injure her, and I think Titan is going for the Fireball plus Evo Zap to kill the Archer Queen. He goes for the Evo Zap against that, and I don't think it's gonna be enough. Titan needed way more on this attack, and I don't think he's getting that. He plays the Fireball on defense as he knows that's the only play that prolongs the game, and he just found himself in a very brutal matchup. Mad Kid, or I should say Rin, is 2 arrows away from winning the game, and he cycles first one. Titan has to play the guards on defense, and that's just a very disgusting matchup. Gets the outside goblin, and Titan probably not mathematically eliminated just yet, but probably also eliminated from the tournament. Very unfortunate. If Rin will be playing against Ruben the last round, let me actually look it up. Rubizales. No, Ruben played against Rin, so there's still a chance for Ruben and Rin to lose their respective games and for Titan to win, but it's gonna be very improbable for Titan to come back. I think Titan played against both of them. He played against Ruben and he played against Rin, and he suffered a loss against both of them. So for now, Titan has to pretty much win 2-0 and hope that they lose their rounds 2-0, and maybe, just maybe, he's gonna beat them in Crown tiebreaker. He's gonna be very close if it happens, and I don't think it's gonna happen, but there's still a way. I think Titan should be playing out the round number 7 and trying to get a last win to potentially set himself up for winning it. Also, I want to see if Ruben won his matchup, because if Ruben didn't win his matchup, okay, he's 4-2. Yeah, so right now it's gonna be a very dire situation, and Ruben actually wins against Lucas, so interesting position for this group. It's gonna be very difficult for Titan to come back. For now, let's just watch something for fun. Maybe Sandbox versus Surgical Goblin. That was definitely a very interesting game, but we just skipped it because we had like more important games for ourselves to watch. And apparently this game ended, so let's check the scoreboard. Surgical Goblin, I believe, is also out of the tournament. But let's just check. Surgical Goblin 3-3, so he beats Sandbox. I think right now both of these guys are at 3-3, so let's check the rankings in Group B. Yep, Surgical Goblin and Sandbox is 4-2. Okay, so Sandbox, I think, is gonna just advance. Wait, if Infril has the last game against Sandbox, maybe he has the chance to advance. Let's check. No, Infril has the last game against Guriko. So he already played against Sandbox. So Sandbox has to lose for Infril to advance. Wait. Oh, Rakan is first! Rakan is first in the group, and right now Sandbox can potentially fall back. Okay, so Infril is still alive in this tournament, but what needs to happen is that Infril has to win against Guriko, Sandbox has to lose, and Rakan can do whatever he wants, honestly. That's gonna be a very cutthroat, and for Infril it's gonna be very difficult to advance at this point. For Titan, I think it's gonna be also very cutthroat, and it may be borderline impossible. So like basically right now both Polish players are facing definitely not a good odds, but still in a play. They still have to play their best, and hopefully their best is gonna be enough. Mohamed Light 6-0, Ian actually in a very big tie for 4-2 with Newsy and Clown, so Group G will be interesting to watch. Riley first in his group, taking 1 loss and then getting 5 wins in a row straight up, and a big tie for second place with Celestia Vau, Nikoko and Rafael Nadal to duke it out for the last one. I don't think Retard is making it, so Asaf is mathematically eliminated. So this group will be also interesting as well. Group F, Ta is running away with that. I think he has mathematically secured his advancement. And another big tie, Samuel Besoto, Sinistro and Turan for the second spot. Group E, It is Vitor75 running away with that, and a tie between Morten and OP Sam, who's gonna advance. I'd love to see this kind of matchup, but I don't think it's gonna be the case. Here in this group, El Molejas is running away, and a big tie between Rin and Ruben. Titan, like I've said, most likely not possible to advance, but if there's a chance, you have to play your video games. In Group C, Adriel with 5 and 1, and Evolve and Colin. Very interesting contention for the spot number 2. I expected Bedfast or Rainbow to advance, but they're falling behind, and Rainbow is already mathematically eliminated, and I think Bedfast also cannot make it anymore. He had a very good run yesterday, but he kinda messed up some matches later on in Group C. He's not leader anymore, he's gonna be struggling, and I think he's also eliminated. Group B, Rakan will be leading the tournament, and right now Sandbox is in clear second, and a big tie in third place, with Guriko, Surgical and Infril trying to take down the Sandbox and potentially steal the spot at the last second. And in Group A, we have EGW and Tanjiro with 5 and 1 score. They're gonna be playing a game between each other, so one of them will be having 2 losses. I believe if Tanjiro wins, the Pedro will have to. Also, Pedro has to win. So, like, let's check the battles. What here? Pedro. Yeah, Pedro played against Tanjiro and he played against EGW. He won against EGW and he lost against Tanjiro. So if Tanjiro wins, the Pedro will advance. But if the EGW wins, the Tanjiro will advance, and Pedro will be eliminated. So right now Pedro should be rooting for Tanjiro to win, basically. Very interesting. And as always, we want to spectate our players, unless there are like other suggestions in the chat. I'm definitely open to see those. I don't think there are any suggestions, so for now, yeah, I'm gonna be watching Polish players in intro against Guriko. And here we go, Infril against Guriko, game number 1. Infril playing a Goblin Drill to open things up against Guriko, who opens with Mega Knight and Empress. So we most likely will see the Ram Rider, the Furnace, the Goblins, this very popular ladder deck. And Guriko, still locked in, gets a King Tower activation against the Magic Archer. And that's gonna be definitely a good trade for Guriko. Getting a Zap, trying to get a sneaky Ram Rider hit, and Infril prepared. He also knows what's up, and he doesn't step away for a second. Gets the block against the Ram Rider, and gets himself a very comfortable 500 damage lead early game. Furnace in the back, as we expected. Infril will have to play some kind of a ranged troop against that every single time. And most likely it's gonna be a Magic Archer. There's no ability this time, and Knight will be there to pick off the Furnace. Right now, I think Guriko can be running different variations of this deck, so his last card may be Ghost, maybe Dark Prince. I've seen even Mini P.E.K.K.A. recently in Grand Challenge in this deck, so last card will be definitely a surprise factor, and Guriko opts to not reveal it just yet. Infril, I believe his last card will be Poison, so he already revealed all his ground cards. He will be having Dark Prince to cover the Drill Mirror matchup, and he will be playing Knight, which is, I believe, one of the hardest counters to all the ground pressure. There should be a snowball coming from Infril, or not. The Knight is barely enough to tank for the Spirit Empress, and he takes 2 hits from the Empress, make it 3. A huge decision from Infril, and his last card indeed will be Poison to take down the Furnace. And I'm assuming the last card from Guriko will be Royal Ghost. He's saving the Royal Ghost. against Drill to make sure that the interaction will be as easy for him as possible. The Magic Archer goes down, which is gonna be a very uncomfortable interaction for Intrill, and Spirit Empress right now whittling down this Dark Prince is gonna be a very painful one. We'll see how this matchup will continue to fare. Intrill opts to eat the Spirit Empress, 1551 on the left side, and Mega Knight drops on the board, and indeed it is gonna be a Roll Ghost to pick off the Evo Drill. Very subpar interaction for Intrill, and right now he has to find a way to stop the Spirit Empress. He has to waste the Evo Snowball. That's gonna be a very difficult downhill push to stop. I don't think it's possible. Guriko takes game number 1. Very unfortunate for Intrill. And Guriko will be making his run for the potential steal against a sandbox. So yeah, very unfortunate one. Let's see if we have any news from Titan, who still is playing, and he's gonna be playing the last game against Lucas X Gamer. Definitely not an easy opponent to beat, but Lucas has not been having a good tournament so far, so I believe Titan wants to face a player that potentially doesn't have a good tournament and potentially can steal a game from him. Lucas going all in with this Dark Goblin, definitely an interesting decision, and getting a lot of damage for his effort. Titan has to spend 8 to potentially protect himself, and 99 HP away from elimination is Titan. Lucas right now putting a lot of pressure, playing wall breakers on defense, and this miner I think is too defensive. Evo Snowball has to be played on defense to not lose instantly to the Goblin Bear, and right now I think Titan has to play for the push, and he does get a push. The balloon is going down the lane. The cannon will come down on the last second, and I think right now Titan is all in. He has to go for the miner to pick off the Dark Goblin and get as much damage as is physically possible. Evo Exi comes down, and right now I think this will be very difficult to defend. 179 on the right side, 99 on the left side. This matchup is getting very close for no reason. The tornado will be not enough, and Lucas will be taking the game number 1 of the Titan. Very close and competitive game, but unfortunately Titan won't be able to make it. And just this makes it even closer, even worse for him to potentially advance. Very close matchups altogether. In this group, I believe we want to see the Pedro versus COK matchup, and we will get it if Pedro wins. And if Pedro wins, it's gonna be a good news for him, but after that he still have to win. I mean, he still have to hope that Tanjiro beats EGW. Yeah, if that Tanjiro beats EGW. If EGW beats Tanjiro, the Pedro will actually not qualify, but if Tanjiro beats EGW, EGW will choke big time, and he will lose to in tie breaks to Pedro. Provided the Pedro wins his game against COK, but he looks like he's gonna do it. Group A. Let's check another groups. Mohamed Light versus Ian77. Obviously, I believe for Mohamed Light it's the formality, like he already won this group already. But Ian77, I believe he's in a close second, and he needs this win to advance. I don't think Mohamed Light will give him a free win though. Mohamed Light always plays seriously. Let's spectate Adriel. I think this game does not have any stakes, but I just like watching Adriel duke it out. And he's gonna be playing against one of the weaker players in his group. He should be playing Poison on defense now, but he's opting not to. He's playing a normal defense, not risking anything, actually risking a lot, and showing off why does he have so good defenses. Graveyard gets a lot of damage, Poison comes down, another Skeletons get on the tower, and Adriel gets a game number 1 against Monpan, one of the lower seeds of this group. So Adriel pretty much won his group before it even began. Like, he's 5-1 and he's playing a lower seed, so he had to beat like better players earlier on. There's one more game, Rafael Nadal versus Nkoko. I think it's kinda important, but I think no matter who wins, like, Riley still will be number 1 in his group. So this matchup won't be that important for us to follow. At the same time, let's check how rankings are looking. Tanjiro and EGW, like I've said, if everything depends from the Tanjiro and EGW's point of view. Obviously, if Pedro loses his set, then nothing happens. Actually, if John77 wins his match, who is Pedro playing against? I think John77 is playing against someone else, so let's check that. John77 is playing against Droy and he lost game number 1. Okay. John77 played against Pedro and he lost, so Pedro has the priority in the tiebreak in case both of these guys win. Actually, if Pedro, John77 and EGW end up in the same tiebreak group, then the crowns will decide the winner and not the head-to-head, so that may be even more complicated than I thought. Yeah, this group is still definitely competitive, but Droy is complicating the things from for himself, as losing is not a good score. I said like it was some kind of a revolutionary knowledge, but it's not. If you need to advance, you have to win now. That's the reality of the situation, and that's just how it is. I believe Intro has lost the game 1, and so did Titan. Yes, Titan lost the game, and Intro lost as well. So these guys, they're not in a good spot anyway, but I think they have to keep playing. They still have ever so slight chances of qualifying, but it's gonna be like very close if they do. I just want both of them to do their best, and so far Lucas in a comfortable lead after wasting Hyperbait, which is considered one of the weaker decks in this meta, and Infril playing against Guriko, who I actually don't remember the matchup, so let me just refresh that. Infril against Guriko. Oh yeah, Guriko actually played a lot of meta cards. He played Fireball, he played Hero Goblins, he played Spirit Empress, which is very commonly used these days. But Intro didn't waste a lot of like important cards. He wasted Poison, so maybe Guriko will opt to go for the Graveyard. But we'll see. That's only a prediction. Either way, Titan and Infril have to win their respective games to maximize their chances of getting a second place in the group, but it's gonna be incredibly close, and in some cases I think it's gonna be impossible for them to qualify. Still, I think they have to do their best, because that's what the competition is all about. These groups will be very close, Group B and D respectively. Group A will be absolute pandemonium with Pedro, John77, AGW and Tanjiro duking it out against themselves. Group E, I believe Vitor has the guaranteed qualification, and Morten and Opisam actually have the head-to-head for who will advance, so that's definitely interesting one. Yeah, Vitor has it locked down already, and Morten and Opisam will pretty much play a game between each other, and whoever wins will pretty much join Vitor. In this group, Samuel Besotto needs a win against Ta to potentially advance. Turan and Sinister will also like compete, and actually if Ta loses and Turan and Sinister win their respective games, we will be having a 4-way tie for first place, and we will be having like crazy tie breaks. So Group F may be even more interesting if Samuel Basotto manages to win. Group G, obviously Mohamed Light, and I think that group is also very interesting. Ian77 needs a win against Mohamed Light. If he doesn't, I think he's eliminated, because Clown and Niuzi have a very good situation by playing like players that cannot qualify at this point. So that's that. And from Group H, Riley, I think, has the mathematical he mathematically secured himself to advance, unless Celestia Vow wins. No, Celestia Vow actually plays for the qualification, and I think Riley still can get eliminated, so this group is not solved as well. Let's check the intros game. Yeah, there's a lot of competition right now, and Definitely not many people are eliminated just yet. There's still a lot of ways to come back, and Infrel will be facing the Guriko in game number 2. Having a Goblin Hat against Balloon definitely a good thing to have, especially because the Balloon doesn't take it in one shot, and the runner, the balloon-like passenger, got detonated on the Ghost, which is not the interaction you're looking for. Guriko running the Giant Skeleton Miner Balloon Executioner. We've seen this deck multiple times today, and Infil running the Pig Psycho with Furnace this time. Probably is trying to snipe some kind of matchup, maybe. I don't think Furnace is the best response against Balloon, but I think he doesn't mind. Golden Hat, an excellent response against Balloon, and right now Infil just gets the Barbara on the tower, tries to get as much damage as is physically possible, gets 3 hits for his efforts, and I think this game will be already wrapped up. If Infil doesn't make any mistakes in double, I think he got it. So let's jump to the different game. In Infil, let's see if he's gonna make it work against Lucas. And here we have Titan running RG and Lucas bringing a Mortar Psycho with Rocket. I genuinely think the Mortar Psycho has a counter, but I wouldn't be counting out the Titan because it's a very difficult mechanically matchup to play, and if Lucas messes up even once, it's gonna be a light work victory for Titan. Although Evobots will make it as difficult as is physically possible, this RG will be stopped in its tracks by the Mortar, and Fisherman will pretty much have no value in this matchup. Yeah, Fisherman is pretty much a dead card in this matchup. It doesn't have a good target to pull. And at this point, I think as the Titan you just reset and play RG in the back. Yes, sir. This Tornado did not pull the RG to the correct lane, and right now Lucas, with a huge mistake, wastes the Tornado for no reason at all. And right now, I would say Titan with a very comfortable position. This Rocket misses every single troop, and right now Titan with a prime position to take this game. He has to play the Hunter behind the RG, gets the Fireball against the Spear Goblins, and maybe E-Spirit against the Bats. He gets it, and the RG on the right side will be making it through. The Mortar will have to be played last second if Lucas wants any chance in this game. He gets a hit, is Titan, and he gets a Barbaro reroll. Spear Goblins will have to come down, and at this point Titan has a very comfortable position. He can play the RG in the back, but he won't opt to because he doesn't want to risk anything against the Lucas at this point. Skeletons to drag the Mortar, and right now he doesn't even care that he has to defend the Mortar. He goes for the RG, and right now Lucas will have to micro perfectly against that Barbaro plate in the front, and Barbaro will most likely make it to the tower. No, it is RG with 1 hit on the tower. And Titan, I believe, is just 2 fireballs away. Very good Tornado to pull the Fisherman to the Mortar to make it allowed to lock. But Titan is very careful and he won't mess this interaction up. The Rocket is being played as the BM measure to counter the Electro Spirit, and he nails the Barbaro to the tower. Titan equalizes things up in this match, and so is Infro. The Polish players are saving their runs, and maybe, just maybe, they still have a chance to potentially advance. Let's check the results in their respective groups. Rakan is still 5-1, Sandbox is still 4-2. If Sandbox wins, by the way, Infro is eliminated, and I don't think Sandbox still won. Let's check the battles. In Group B, there are no more battles anymore, so I believe Sandbox is 1-1. Sandbox, there we go. He lost to Droy, and as I can see, they're not playing. Group B battles, very weird. Sandbox, where's the matchup against Droy? Wait, what? Rankings, Group B. Sandbox. Oh, he's playing against Rakan. Okay, so Sandbox is playing against Rakan and there are 1-1 in the score. Wait, so that means if Sandbox loses... No. Yes, if Sandbox loses and Rakan wins, Rakan will be 6-1 and then Sandbox will have to compete on tie breaks with Surgical Goblin and Intrill, so this matchup is definitely open if... this matchup is open if Sandbox loses and Rakan wins, and if Sandbox wins, he just guarantees himself a qualification. So that's how this Group B looks like. And the Group D, we have two 5-2 scores, so I think it's already mathematically secured. No matter what, unfortunately, I think... wait, where's the info? I swear... No, it was Titan. Yeah, this group unfortunately is mathematically secured. Titan unfortunately is out. El Molejas and Ruben will be advancing, and Titan cannot advance anymore, so this group unfortunately is already solved. Group A, however, EGW versus Tanjiro, I believe they're 1-1 and not schedule battles. Let's go here. EGW is 1-1 against Tanjiro, so the Group A is still open. Group E is gonna be Morten versus OP Sam, and I believe they still have a 1-1 score against each other. Let's see, Morten 1-1 against OP Sam, yes sir. Group C, I believe Adriel has it secured, and yeah, at this point this group is also solved mathematically as well. Kimchi, Colin will be advancing with Adriel, so Group C is already clarified. In Group E, like we've said, it's gonna be actually a very interesting one. Yeah, Sosa and Crobat have it already solved, but Morten and Obisam are also at 4 wins, and one of them will jump to 5, so one of the Germans will advance with Vitor 75. Group F will be Ta. Oh, it's this group where pretty much everyone can be at 5-2 scores, so the Group F is still not solved, and apparently a lot of players will still be playing matches, yes. We see Ta playing, we see Basato playing, and we see Sinistro. All of these guys can advance. I believe Turan is already safe in 5-2, but he can still lose on tiebreak, so Group F will be very complicated one. Group G, it's not solved because Mohamed Light actually is 1-1 against Ian. Yep, Ian 77 still can make it against Mohamed Light, and if he does, he makes sure that he is gonna be in contention. If Ian loses, he is out. That's in Group G. And Group H, yes, everyone is playing except for 2 guys. ASAP got a free win of Ichihu. That's something that we told. Oh, full-time Man City, nice. And in Group H, all the 2 guys are playing. Celestia Vau is playing, Nico is playing, Rafael Nadal is playing. Like, in this group still anything can happen. I believe Riley doesn't even have the mathematical guaranteed situation, because if he wants to make sure that he doesn't get eliminated, he has to get a win against Celestia Vau, and for now they have a 1-1 score. Celestia Vau definitely getting a comeback win with a golem beatdown against Riley, and right now this matchup is wide open. Anything can happen, honestly. But if Riley wins, he just is guaranteed #1 in the group. If Celestia Vaudo wins, anything can happen. So a lot of deciding matchups. I believe Tanjiro EGW is decider, Morten OP Sam is decider. Here pretty much every match counts. Here Intrill, if I recall correctly, is eliminated, but let me check that. Group B, not really, no. Intrill is not eliminated, he has to win, and he has to hope that Rakan wins his matchup as well. Yeah, we are literally talking about that, so let's jump to the Intrill's game, because Titan is officially eliminated. Unfortunately, he won't be making it to the top 16. in a week, but Infril is still in the contention. And we play it, and Infril bringing his A game. He's gonna be bringing a bridge spam. He's known for playing bridge spam, and we just love to see it. And Guriko ready with that pick, mini P.E.K.K.A against a bridge spam, but Infril getting a very good cheese at the start of the game. Mother Witch and Bandit getting a lot of damage, and that's exactly what Infril needs. If he holds these picks, I think the game is already over. Guriko with not a best start, and Infril locked in, gets a King Tower activation. Beautiful timing. You have to know how this King Tower activation when the Magic Archer is this popular. Infril with Zappies as well. Very good stuff. And if Infril has even a smallest health, he doesn't get a push against the Goblin Hunt, but if he gets even the smallest of big spells, I think he is guaranteed to win with Vines. Still questionable, but I think Infril, what he has to do right now is make sure that he doesn't die to pigs, and he cycles 3 sets of Vines on his opponent's tower, unless he has arrows as well. In that case, it's gonna be even easier. Even easier if he has Fireball, but he's hiding his big spell for now. Maybe it's gonna be Fireball. If he has Fireball, like, he literally cannot physically lose. He gets a cheese with Evil Lumberjack and the Mother Witch. This pick will get 1 hit, make it 2. Mother Witch gets on the tower, and right now Infril pretty much got everything he wanted. If he doesn't die to pigs, he's gonna make this run incredibly easy. He gets the Zappies. He doesn't play Fireball on defense, so I'm assuming he already wasted a Fireball. Yeah, his last card is Giant Skeleton, so his only spell is Vines. He has to make sure right now that he defends. I believe every single Mother Witch should be going on defense as for now. And if it does, I think the Evil Pigs will get a lot of damage, but they won't get enough damage. Here come the Evil Pigs, Mother Witch on the defense, Vines to slow 3 pigs down, and there has to be something to pick off the Magic Archer. There's the Bandit to pick off the Marcher. Guriko in time with the ability. Magic Archer will be protected, but there's 20 seconds left, and I think Infril can hold the last pigs. There comes the pigs, there comes the Lumberjack. Vines to slow down the pigs. Zappies will hold, and Infril has an 4 and 3. We'll see how the group will turn out to be. I think the Infril has chances only if Sandbox loses. So let's go to this match. Okay, Stats Real decided to refresh now of all times, but it's fine. And Sandbox is still playing against Rakan. So if Rakan wins, the Infril has chances. If Sandbox wins, the Infril is out. And so far Sandbox is hard winning, and yeah, I think and Rakan gave up, so Sandbox will be qualifying, and unfortunately Infril is out. GG, well played, very unfortunate. And Infril is officially out of the tournament. Sad things to see. We needed Rakan just to win this once, and it wasn't enough. So Titan is out, this is out. EGW won against Tanjiro, so it means Pedro will be out. No matter if he wins or loses, the Pedro will be losing in tiebreakers to Tanjiro, so Pedro is out as well. In this group, I believe, yeah, we have already it locked up. Morten against OP Sam are still playing, so let's check this matchup. Okay, they are not playing anymore. So let's check the battles. 5 and 2 is okay, Morten against OP Sam. There's still not a score. Okay. OP Sam beating Morten 2 and 1. It's gonna be OP Sam that's gonna qualify to the monthly finals, not Morten. Very sad for the German, and as I expected, he's gonna finally make it. And in this group, there's gonna be still mess. In this group, Mohamed Light is still playing against Ian. I think we can watch this match. It's sudden death overtime. Ian 77 with Electro Giant, Mohamed Light with a minor control. That's not a position you want to be in. And Ian is a must-win situation. If Ian doesn't win, it's gonna be over. E-Giant gets closer to the tower, but another bomb tower is in play. Golden Knight cleans everything up, and right now 1647. E-Giant will get some reflection damage, definitely good for Ian77, as right now he's in 800 damage lead. I would say it's as good as it can get for Ian77 in this matchup. If he beats Mohamed Light, not only will prevent the Mohamed Light from running 7-0, also he will make sure that his position in group is secure, and he's gonna also advance with Mohamed Light. At the same time, if Mohamed Light wins, the Ian77 I think will be out, so it's a must-win scenario for Ian77. He picks up a miner, he gets the Electro Giant not close enough to the tower, and Magic Archer will still be a nuisance. Bowler gets a hit against the Magic Archer, and right now I think Ian should stop setting up E-Giants. He has to go for lightnings on the bomb towers, and he has to be catching the miners. He's not catching the miner, and the Magic Archer gets a shot. Very unfortunate for Ian77. He wastes a poison on defense as well. Just not a very good position. Miner is not getting picked off. Bowler will try to get some magic, but there's no magic to be found. Skeleton Army is so efficient against these troops, but Golden Knight gets onto the tower. That's exactly what Ian77 needed. Bowler gets the miner off the tower. Bowler will get one splashy, and I think if you block the Magic Archer with Golden Knight, just like that, Ian77 gets it done in 3 against Mohamed Light, and he will secure his position as the runner-up in this group. Beautiful stuff from Ian77, and he will be putting himself in a very good position in the Group G. Clown, though, will be getting a better tiebreak than Ian77, apparently. We'll see if that's the case. I think Clown has just more crowns now. Yeah, unfortunately Ian77, even after this beautiful clutch... Wait, no, Ian77 has a better game difference. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, Ian has a better win rate. I think Ian77 will take it. The website says that Clown is above Ian. Maybe it's courtesy of head-to-head. Let's check what was the head-to-head between Ian77 and Clown. Battles. Ian. He lost to Clown. So Clown will be advancing in Group G. That's so tragic. And Mohamed Light obviously will be winning this group. So Ian77 won't be seen tomorrow because Ian lost to Clown in round number 1. Very tragic. And it's gonna bite him right now at the end of the tournament. EGW will be guaranteed to move on. Adriel won. Riley won his game, and he's gonna secure his spot. And from ranking standpoint, let's see who is gonna actually advance. Pedro, I think, doesn't advance no matter what. From Group B, Sandbox and Rakan will advance. We've already discussed that. In Group D, Ruben and El Molejas will be advancing. In Group C, it's gonna be Adriel and Colin. In Group E, Opisam and Vitor. In Group F, it's gonna be a big tie. I'm gonna actually check what's happened in Group F. I think in Group F the win rates will be deciding, and they are. The Ta has the best games win rate in 12 and 6, and then Samuel Besotto. So Ta and Samuel Besotto will be advancing. Turan unfortunately will be eliminated. So that's the situation in Group F. Group G, however, Clown having a worse game score than Ian77, but in head-to-head Clown beat Ian, so he's gonna be advancing in Group G. Very unlucky for the American. And in the Group H, we have just Rafael Nadal with 5 and 2 and Riley with 6 and 1, and there's no discussion about that. Yeah, so that's pretty much the final result of the CRL Day 2 group stage, and I think I'm gonna just call the stream here this week. Yes, 5k USC. I know the Samuel Besotto's group was very intense, and After all the grind, Samuel Bosotto managed to come in second. That was a very competitive group. I agree with that. Thank you for notifying me. I didn't see your chat in time, but I've seen it was a very competitive group, and congratulations to Basotto if you were rooting for him as well. Yeah, very close in many groups. There were some kind of anticlimactic finishes, like for instance, in group I believe, I'm gonna actually check it. There was at least one group where like it was settled before. Yeah, in group C, for instance, it was settled before it ever started. In group H, it was supposed to be very interesting. In group E, I believe Vitor had a mathematically secured situation, and OP Sam was duking it out against Morten. OP Sam taking the game today. Yeah, very interesting tournament today, and we're gonna be seeing these 16 players. I'm gonna reiterate them once again. In a week, we're gonna be seeing EGW, Tanjiro, Sandbox, Rakan, Adriel, Colin, Ruben, El Molejas, Opisam, Vitor, Ta, Basotto, Mohamed Light, Clown, not Ian77, Riley, and Rafael Nadal. So I would say a lot of familiar names. I believe it's gonna be Tanjiro's first monthly finals. It's gonna be Rakan's maybe first monthly finals. I'm not sure he ever qualified. Colin, I believe, was already in monthly finals. El Molejas, that's definitely a new player, unless it's a new nickname and I just don't know this guy. I'm gonna double check him right now. El Molejas, I believe that's this guy. It's Axel from Mexico, so definitely a new rookie. I haven't heard about him. Huge congratulations for him having a beautiful performance, 8-1 yesterday, and right now getting it done in Group D. Group A gonna be Opisam Vitor. Here I believe, yeah, Ta and Basotto are seasoned ones. They're gonna be having another monthly finals. Clown Mohamed Light also seasoned. And another person that I don't know of is Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal with a space in between. And he's also registered as a pro in Royal API, and it's Akaza from France. That makes a lot of sense. So Akaza will also qualify to the monthly finals, and that's gonna be it. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting monthly finals in a week, and I'm definitely looking out to stream it as well. But for now, I'm gonna just call the stream, and thanks for watching, everyone, and see ya in a week. Maybe earlier if I decide to stream something, but for now, that was intense, and GG to all competitors. Unfortunately, a lot of players don't make it, but that's this custom of the format. For someone to be a winner, there has to be a lot of losers, and today was very competitive. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and see ya later. Have a great evening. Peace.